What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another episode of the Shop Podcast. How are all the beautiful people in chat? Shout out to everybody hanging out with us in chat. Another Saturday, the Shop Podcast 303 is live, man. It has been a tough week personally, but I'm glad to be here, man. Had a conversation with wifey, so shout out to her. It's the reason why the show is actually being actually live this week. So shout out to her, man, and shout out to you guys. You guys are a big reason for that as well. We do this for the community, man. But we got an amazing show lined up. Once again, hit the like button if you're new here. Subscribe. Thank you for all the kind words and all the cool comments as well recently, man. Stuff's been live here at the Shop Podcast. All the growth, you guys are amazing. So we got another phenomenal guest lined up. Phenomenal show. It's been a big week. Well, things are heating up, getting into the summer showcases, all that cool stuff. So make sure you wipe your feet on the way in, but say hello to everybody as well. But let me go ahead and get into our guest, man. And this man is the co-host of the DPS podcast, also part of Scumcast as well. But shout out to you, Slow Mo, for hanging out with us, man. Appreciate you. Let everybody know where they can find you, brother.
Yo, what up? What up? Slow Mo Backslap here. And you can find me on literally everything with the same name, Slow Mo Backslap. I am one of the very few that can say that if you see this name on any kind of social media platform, gaming platform, or whatever, it's definitely me. Because ain't no one else got my name. Maybe it's just that out there or whatever. I don't know. But I just know that my name's always free. Like whenever I sign up for something new, let me sign up for Epic Game Store. Slow Mo Backslap ain't taken. Never taken. It's never taken, man. The only thing I gotta worry about is I don't have enough characters. But like other than that, yeah. Or if it's like PlayStation where they don't like the words back and slap together, so I gotta put like an underscore in the middle, stuff like that. But otherwise, that's where you can find me. Damn near everything.
Awesome, man. Shout out to having you here. I know you had to come, you came straight over from the Scumcast. Shout out to Luca. Shout out to everybody over there. I think I saw Forte there as well. Everybody over there at the
Happy
Scumcast.
Birthday to him again.
Yeah, happy birthday to Forte, man. Shout out to
58 years old today.
That's crazy, man.
Actually, not 58. I just like to say he's 40.
Oh, God, Lee. Okay. Look at me rolling with it. Shout out to you, though, Forte, man. Appreciate you, man. Shout out to you. But, man, once again, Slow Mo, go follow him. All the information is down in the description below. Please go ahead. You know how we do. We roll out the red carpets. No problem at all. We roll out the red carpet for the guests here at the Shop Podcast, man. So shout out to everybody. I see Lore Master shown to everybody in chat, man. You guys are freaking amazing. Once again, hit the like button too. You guys are awesome. So we're gonna throw this over to the two gentlemen who make me look good every week. Mr. Consistent, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. How you doing this week, brother?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Glad we got Slow Mo on here as well. Just checking out Twitter and just cracking up at all the nonsense going on. There's like the predictable FUD just before the showcases and whatnot going on. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. But man, other than that, just playing some Gran Turismo, some Division 2, a little bit of Undisputed, and I think that's pretty much about it.
Oh man, Division 2, you speaking my language, man.
Oh yeah, man. We do. We still get down in Division 2. So come holler at us. You guys know them. Hey, look, the gamer tag is all in the description below. Go come holler at us. You want to play a little Division 2? We stay on that. So
man, I just made a new striker build where I was just melting enemies on heroic. Just melting them.
We're gonna have to play then. We're gonna have to play.
Yeah, we gotta do that. I have it on every platform. But I play primarily on PC, so I need to. If y'all on Xbox, I'm gonna have to go. Spend some time on there, build my character up, and then we can get.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already at like past like Warlords of New York stuff. It's just that like I think my Shade Tech level is like 60. It ain't nothing really high. But my level on PC is like 500. So it's definitely different, but yeah,
we'll get into it for sure. We play a whole lot of that. And anybody in chat, by the way, since the invitation is already out there, anybody in chat who love playing Division 2, come holler at us, man. Gamer tag is in chat. Fuzzy's not difficult to find. All the information is in description below as well too. Come holler at us. We love that Division 2 for sure. Shout out to Superman. Oh, go ahead.
But real quick, I've been playing the public test server on PC. The new content, it's like a roguelike. It's great. It's actually really good. I think everyone's going to like it when it rolls out. But my bad.
No, you good. You good, man. Shout out to everybody in chat. I said Andrew, Superman, everybody. Once again, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here, man. The engagement's been crazy. It's the biggest month we've ever had here at the Shop Podcast. So let's keep that momentum going, man. We're gonna throw this over Fuzzy. Pong Harvey, man. How you been this week? What you been up to? What you been playing, brother?
It's been one heck of a week. Lots going on, lots going down. Not just news here, but first of all, it is fantastic to have Slow-Mo here, even though he was trying to give me a hard time behind the scenes. Haven't been on a podcast. Yeah, no, stop. I am not your forte. Okay?
I would never.
No, man. Funny enough that we had Forte on Xbox Ultimate last night, and then tonight I get you too.
He told me.
Yeah, well, Mav baited him on coming on by slandering Nintendo for about 10 minutes straight. So
that would do it.
That's a veteran move.
Veteran move. It was. But no, it's great to have Slow-Mo here. It's been too long, brother. Great to hear your voice. Always love your opinions, man. So appreciate you taking the time and stopping by the Shop Podcast. And it's great to be here. My two of my favorite brothers right here, PTK Blam and of course Fuzzy. Absolutely great way to have a Saturday night. Glad we could get this done, PTK. I know you got a lot going on, man. I know how that goes. So, just appreciate you getting this show up and running. And hopefully we can have a good time and give you some laughs as always. But yeah, week of gaming, man. Not a whole lot interesting other than my Age of Wonders 4, which is absolutely just I just can't. I've been praising it now for 3 weeks straight, and I can't stop. This game is the most fun I've had in a 4X strategy game in a very long time. Love every part of it on console. I'm so happy it came to console. Just a fantastic game. And then I did download a couple of the new Game Pass games. There's 2 of them that I downloaded because you guys know I love the Eastern flavor. I love when those games come over. I don't care if they're indie or if they're AAA. It doesn't matter to me. Anytime Xbox gets something from the East, I got to try it out. So I downloaded Ghost Lore and Eastern Exorcist. And I thought I was going to play both of them. But you know what? I popped on Ghost Lore and found out that it is a Diablo-esque type game.
I just downloaded it today.
Oh my God. So I started playing through that, and the classes are interesting. It's not your standard classes. They've got like an exorcist in there. They've got all sorts of crazy stuff. But really, for an indie title that took a ton of influence from Diablo, but then set it in that kind of Eastern flavor, it is just awesome. 8-bit, 16-bit graphics. So you gotta be able to deal with those. I know some people don't like playing the older looking games. But for me, I'm in heaven right now. This scratches an itch. They've got all the loot you could ask for. They got weapons. They got, they got hats. They got scarves. They got everything you could put on, all your armor, everything else. And then they've got this fascinating glyph system where you pick up these glyphs and you got this big, huge checkerboard. I think it's like 8x8. Maybe it's bigger than that. It might be 10x10. You open up more and more spots as you level up, and you can add these glyphs, which are basically your skill tree, because they will, increase percentages of accuracy or whatever the case may be, depending on the style of glyph you get. And then you get these rare glyphs that actually have a pattern to them. So not only do you place that glyph in there, but then they have a certain pattern within your bigger grid. And whatever glyphs you have set up in there, depending on which ones you have located where, type by type, you get actually bonuses on top of everything else. So actually a little bit deeper than I was expecting. But yeah, if you're interested in a little, I know Diablo's a week and a half away here.
Yeah, right on the corner.
It's going to be crazy. But if you are looking to scratch that itch and you want to try something new, something different from an indie, go check out Ghost Lore. I can't recommend it enough. It's a really cool game. I made a post about it. Shout out to the dev team too. They retweeted it. So a lot of people got to see it. But go check that out. I definitely would. But news-wise, it has been a big week yet again, PTK. We are in that showcase season, so we got a lot to talk about. And now we've got a heavyweight showcase showdown back again, giving that feeling of the E3s of old a little bit. Sony,
a little bit.
Finally stepping back into the ring, 600 plus days. They're showing up. Yes, it's a couple weeks earlier than Xbox, but who cares? It's within the same time frame. So we are going to call it a showcase showdown. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Let's get into it, man. Shout out to everybody.
I just want to say that I installed Ghost Lore halfway through his explanation of the game. It is already finished installing, and I'm already at level 6.
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
Nice. In that short, quick time. See, you gotta love Game Pass, people. Gotta love.
I know
Game
that
Pass.
was a shot at how much I just talked in my intro slow-mo, but that's fine. If you actually did download Ghost Lore, it was worth it, brother.
Oh yeah, I actually did.
Okay,
did.
all
You know, I love indie, so I actually did install it, and I'm going to try it out tonight. I've been playing. The last thing I actually finished Ravenlock.
Nice.
A couple days ago.
I finished that
I
as
gotta go
well.
back to that. I gotta go back to that.
I did like Echo Generation better.
I saw you said that.
Yeah, the Cocoa Cucumber game, but it's still a good experience. I recommend Ravenlock. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, but
awesome.
yeah, you always need another game to jump into. So yeah, I'm gonna try this out because like Diablo 4, I'm on that, man. I beat Diablo 3 again this year.
Who isn't?
So
nice.
Yeah.
Yep. So did I. Stu and I ran through Diablo 3 again too.
Awesome. So you know me, I'm diving into. So let's go ahead and get into it, man. We got a whole lot to talk about, man. Shout out to everybody in chat. Shout out to everybody watching. Once again, hit the like button. Let everybody know the Shop Podcast is live. Share that link on Twitter as well, man. We appreciate everybody hanging out, man. We're actually, since it's such a busy week, and this is kind of I don't want to double up on the same topic. So sometimes the poll of the week tends to be very, very close to actually like what's going on that week. So we're going to forego the poll of the week this week. So shout out to the 400 plus people who voted. Once again, if you want to partake in that, follow me on Twitter. All of the information is down in the description below. I throw those poll of the weeks up on Monday, and then we talk about them every single Saturday, unless we got some other stuff to cover. But mostly every single Saturday, man. But this week, we're just diving right into the meat of the show, and we're just going to start here. And I don't know how you feel about this or starting here, slow-mo, but we got to get into it either way. It's too big. It makes too much sense, right? So we talk a little bit about this EU approving the ABK deal and kind of what that means going forward. Now, I don't know how much of a conversation you've had about it this week, but, you know, we had to cover it this week. It's such a huge, a huge milestone for Xbox and for Microsoft, seemingly with the CMA, you know, kind of coming out of left field. This is a really good thing that's going to continue to support where they're trying to go. It does make things a little bit easier going forward. They still have some hurdles that they got to get through. Obviously, things aren't quite done yet, but this is a big one. This is a big domino that fell in their favor. So kind of where you at afterwards, kind of thinking about it, you know, letting it marinate for a few days.
Sure, yeah. The only time I like discussing this topic is when there's things that have actually happened. You know, there are people that you know. Shout out to like homies like Everborn, but Everborn be like, hey, look, I heard, you know, that like, you know, one of the CMA people farted yesterday. Okay, it was nasty in the elevator. It was terrible. I'm gonna tweet about it. I'm like, nah, I ain't trying to see that, Everborn. But when it comes to stuff like EU approving the deal, that's big news. That's something that's definitely worth discussing. And I think this was very pivotal for Xbox, because if the EU decided to block it, I think that would have been all she wrote as far as them attempting to try to like make this deal get through. Looking at them for the three biggest regulators, they would definitely have needed to get this past, you know, FTC, CMA, EU to all block it. Like, I think they probably would have been really maybe waiting until July to do that renegotiation with ABK, but potentially letting it go. But with the EU passing, and then they also got, I don't know what you want to talk about yet or not, but China passed.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
And I think I heard like South Africa is probably going to pass it, or announce they're going to pass it like next week. All of that said, like it really just comes down to the CMA, and which I thought the CMA blocked it. My theory of it is, and this is based on absolutely nothing, right? I don't have any I don't have any knowledge. I don't know a regulator, right? I don't know a lawyer that works on this kind of stuff. But my theory was that the CMA blocked it and used cloud gaming as the reason for their block, so that people would be like, "You're protecting Sony," because then their default response would be, "Well, we threw out Sony's arguments. We blocked it for cloud gaming," and so then it's like a built-in excuse. I think the FTC has just got a hard on for big tech, and Lena Khan ain't just like, she's trying to prove a point. Her point is that the laws need to be different. She knows she doesn't have a case, but she wants to continue to keep fighting against like Meta, any acquisition they do, Microsoft, and this big acquisition, because she wants Congress to realize that she feels like the FTC can't be effective if they are only trying to regulate monopolies, which it has nothing to do with this acquisition.
Yeah, this is not
whatsoever.
anywhere near a monopoly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nowhere near a monopoly, which is why she's going to lose the case. But like, she's still doing everything she's doing for an ulterior motive, so to speak. So I do think that, like, maybe 2 months ago, I was thinking like this probably is going to get blocked, but now I'm leaning more towards it's probably going to go through. Which, I mean, it doesn't really do anything for me because although I play Call of Duty and I play Diablo and I used to play Overwatch until that nonsense they pulled this week, but like I was going to play those games whether they were like them having a new owner and whether those games end up at Game Pass, and that really doesn't affect me because I was going to buy the game, or now that if it goes to the Game Pass and I'm just like I don't have to spend money on it regardless. It's not a situation where it was like, oh, I was kind of interested, but now that it's in Game Pass, I'll give it a shot. Like what I did just now with Ghost Lore. Nah, it was like these are games that I was going to buy anyway. So if, whether it's the deal got blocked and I still got to spend full price for them, or the deal goes through and they're in Game Pass at launch, means nothing to me. I'm still playing at launch. That's what we do out here. We gamers.
For sure. Okay, so once again, a lot of people hold that same position, and this is kind of a big domino because, like you said, a couple months ago, even a lot of people felt like this thing might be going the opposite direction. Right? There was a lot of sentiment around the community. There was some people jumping off the boat like it was a Titanic, ready to go on. Ready. Jack saved me. They was ready to jump off the boat, but once again, you got to let these things marinate. It felt like the adults showed up. That's what it felt like to me. Somebody actually looked at the evidence and made a subjective decision based on the evidence that was presented. It wasn't some emotional decision from some random standpoint of, we're going to try and base our entire argument on Bambi legs, right? Essentially a market that doesn't exist. So we're trying to protect it, which means we're stifling innovation, which means we're doing the opposite of our goddamn job, right?
Right. You can tell the market don't exist because the only brand that attempted to make their entire platform about that market is already out of business, and that's from $1 billion corporation, Google Stadia. Freaking Google Stadia is already out in grand opening, grand closing in like 2 years.
Yeah,
all cloud. Xbox, xCloud, you can't even get it if you don't have Game Pass Ultimate. Like, it's not something that they sell separately. You just can't go to Microsoft like, I just want that xCloud. I don't want nothing else. Nah, you ain't getting that. We don't even have a price for that, And GeForce Now, literally, they don't sell games in GeForce Now. It's a service that just allows you access to stuff that you already have through other platforms and marketplaces. It fits a niche, but it's not like massive. Like if you're not a PC gamer, you get nothing from GeForce Now.
Yeah.
So it's a nothing market, and it's going to continue to be a nothing market because we can just look at like our country right now in the state of broadband internet. You got people in certain regions in the country that broadband internet to them has a data cap. Like out of all the ISPs they have access to, they only get broadband internet through a data cap. I'm fortunate enough that I got Verizon Fios, so I don't have that. But I know people who they have to manage those things, and the FCC kind of shows the way the state of this country is with government. Not too long ago, the head of the FCC was a former lobbyist for Verizon and ISP. So what did he do when he became the head of the FCC? He pretty much acted the way he'd been acting, which is lobby for the ISPs. It completely undid net neutrality, made it difficult to try to get progress done. The internet should be more open to where it is. And he made it harder for us laymen to get good quality internet like the way you can get overseas easily for a reasonable price. We are in no way, shape, or form ready to deal with the kind of data that cloud gaming actually puts on your internet and your bill. like how quickly you can burn through that if you have a data cap. It's not happening no time soon whatsoever. And them to rule like that for it kind of shows there's something else going on here. Clearly.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think we want to make sure we highlight that too as well. Once again, the decision was a great decision. Like I said, it felt like the adults showed up to the table. And I'm gonna throw this over to you, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. We're gonna get your opinion on this. Once again, man, this approval came down big domino to fall in Xbox's and Microsoft's favor. Obviously, things that kind of been teetering a little bit, you know, with the CMA kind of making that essentially a surprise announcement from everything that we had heard up until that point. Everybody thought it was going to be approved, but they threw a curveball at it. So this one actually fell in their favor. So just where you at? I know this has been talked about all week, but after letting this marinate a few days, where you at on this? And chat, let us know too where you guys at on the progress in this deal.
Well, it feels closer than it did, let's say, just 2 weeks ago, kind of thing. I think for the most part, with the CMA's decision, they kind of made the decision that they had forecasted or kind of hinted at from the get-go when they were doing the emojis and the whole, not off or protect by PlayStation kind of thing with that one guy. But like Slow-Mo said, they couldn't get away with, protecting Sony, because that would have been the thing that they would have to answer for or constantly get questioned on. So they pointed to cloud. They made another clerical error after they made a clerical error on the whole Call of Duty thing. And, they looked at, I guess, xCloud as being everybody that's a Game Pass subscriber as opposed to just the Ultimate subscribers. And then even like most of the Ultimate subscribers aren't even using the cloud end of the thing. So EU set things straight. They pretty much did the homework that the CMA didn't bother.
They were presented with the same evidence, right? I believe so, right? At least close enough to the same evidence.
Well, it was like the CMA had blinders on while the EU actually studied, kind of thing, and read the notes and looked at all the the documents and evidence, and was like, oh, well, just so we make sure that this is going to be a open market kind of thing where it's going to be able, or a new competitor can step into the arena and not have to climb a mountain right out the gate kind of thing. They made them license the Activision games going forward. So that was kind of like a concession to kind of kick things off. So it makes it more open for future aspects, but in the grand scheme of things, it was the right decision. And then China, pretty much, that was another one that was kind of worrying, especially after the whole NetEase and Activision deal that fell apart beforehand, where it seemed like they were kind of playing some backdoor tactics where it was like, oh, we could put in a good word for you, or we could not put in a good word for you type of thing. And then Bobby was like, screw you guys. And they wound up calling him an a-hole, and talks broke down after that. So, China, passing the deal, not too much of a surprise, but a nice one as well. And it was just one of those things where it's like, well, that's 10-cent territory. So as big as 10-cent is over there, obviously they don't care, and they would rather not have that spotlight on 10-cent when they go for maybe a publisher, a big publisher like a Take-Two or something like that. So they, for all intents and purposes, China made sense as well. It's just that it's the CMA is the only one that's going to be a kind of a stick in the mud type of deal. The FTC is not as relevant for the fact that their case, or the case that they're trying to make, doesn't match the laws that are on the books as of today. And whether Lena Khan wants to be a martyr or this activist against big tech, I think it's just showing how we can waste taxpayer dollars and constantly going through this litigation when you have a losing case, as opposed to just getting the Congress off their butts to actually try to pass the laws. Because I mean, if they're not going to do it from you talking to them, you lose in cases where it's costing taxpayer dollars and you need a increase to your budget. That's not going to make any changes either. So I don't know, but the EU, positive sign, great thing moving forward. Now it's just a matter of what Satya said, let things play out. See how the CMA acts after they get all this pressure from their parliament and whatnot, and go from there. But the deal feels a little closer than it did, like I said, a month ago. So that's the positive.
Definitely, it's hard to win a war on two fronts, is what I was told. The CMA is going to look up, and they're going to be on just on an island by themselves. You know what I mean? Just trying to figure out like what are we supposed to stand on? Where's our case at? Because it's getting weaker and weaker, and the argument is becoming more and more obviously ridiculous as more and more these large companies, these large countries approve this deal without any concessions at all. It's like a landslide at this point. So the CMA standing on their own over there looking silly at the end of the day. But we're going to throw this over to you, Pong. Get your opinion. I know you've been talking about this all week in chat. Let us know what you guys think about this. Well, shout out to Spider-Man, Bacon, Stanley. How you guys doing? Luis, how you all doing? But let us know, Pong, where you at on kind of letting this marinate, thinking about it after a few days.
Is he on mute?
Oh, I know. You muted, Pong?
Can you hear me now?
Yep,
Yes.
There you go.
Perfect. All right. Awesome. Yeah, no, this is a big moment. This was giant, along with China, obviously, because China was also required as part of the deal. But what this did was let Microsoft taste this deal. What it did was, after the CMA block, obviously, got to believe that that it was a down moment, and obviously they didn't know how the EC was probably going to rule in this, and they probably had some big questions, and they might have even been thinking, well, I don't know, the CMA did it, the EC might follow suit. So what this did was really breathe life back into the deal. And I think now at this point, as country after country approves this, and again, the small ones, they don't matter, but they are a part of it. Yeah. I think that they see themselves now 5 yards from the goal, right? 5 yards from the goal line. And you saw that with Satya's interview, the smirk on his face when the question was asked, whether or not, there was a foreseeable future where, content would be sold in the United States where it was approved, but not in the UK, where the CMA blocked it. And Satya said, well, let's wait to see how it plays out, right? But he gave that smirk at the end, right? I think that now that they're this close, there is no way they're giving this up. This is the biggest
siege the CMA.
No. They're not going to allow one country, because again, you got to remember they have the utmost confidence that they're going to beat the FTC here, right? They got to internally be above 90% that they will beat the FTC in the courts here, no matter what. So that leaves one country, the UK, and there is no way they're going to allow the biggest deal in Microsoft history to fall by the wayside because the CMA stands in their way. Again, this is $1 trillion worldwide, very powerful company who didn't get that way by backing down from people. And again, one country is again, there's got to be creative ways. I've said at this point, all options, no matter how complex, no matter how extreme, no matter how expensive, have to be on the table. And obviously, I'm not saying that they would use the nuclear option and pull completely out of the UK. I think that is absolute last resort. But a company this big, this powerful, with this much pull politically and otherwise, I think can come up some very creative ways to make this work, even if the CMA continues to be stubborn. Now, ultimately, I think the CMA does reverse course here. I think ultimately I think what's happening right now is they're all trying to find a way to save face so that Parliament doesn't look like that they strong-arm the CMA, which is not supposed to happen, that the CMA doesn't look like the idiots that they currently are, that they can back out of this and still get a W. And obviously that Microsoft can walk away saying, hey, all we did was just, showed the proof and showed the numbers, and they made their decision, and, they reversed course, which is great. I think that's what's happening behind the scenes right now to give a favorable outcome for everybody that's involved with that decision over there. So this is a big moment. Satya's legacy with Microsoft is pretty much solidified. He's done a lot of big things ever since he took over from Microsoft. Definitely. But this is a part of his legacy. The biggest deal in Microsoft history. You think he's going to walk away, retire, move on to a different company, knowing that he had the biggest deal of Microsoft's history on the table, 5 yards from the goal line, and he let one country stand in his way, one regulatory body that has faulty reasoning, that has faulty, information, whatever you want to say, has an agenda. You think he's going to let that honestly be the last one of his last pieces of his legacy, that he didn't get that deal pushed through? Nah, that's not happening here. This deal is going to get done. This was a huge moment. Throw on China again, China being a big one because it was a part of the agreement with ABK. They had to have China sign off on this for the deal to go through. So that was another big one. There were 38 countries now have approved this. Yeah. It's I'm not going to say it's inevitable because, again, nothing's 100%. I never deal in absolutes. Only Sith deal in absolutes. I don't do that. But I think we're as close to that as possible. I think this goes through one way or the other. And if it has to get extreme, well, buckle up. It's going to get extreme. And I think Microsoft will do what's necessary and maybe in the process make some people look really stupid if they don't want to actually come to their senses. So I think that's where it's at. Big moment, though. EC was a big moment for them, for sure.
Definitely. Huge. And we've been talking about this the last few weeks as well, like how, which direction is this going to tilt. This EU thing was a big deal. China was a big deal. So them jumping over those hurdles, clearing those hurdles, it just makes that CMA case so ridiculous, man. It just makes it so painstakingly, obviously ridiculous at the legs that they are trying to stand on by building their argument. They've already backtracked on so many different things. They've already done the math wrong. They've done everything wrong. And this just makes it painfully obvious when you have all these countries, you said 37, 38 confirmed at this particular point in time, already approving this deal, and actually very few like concessions, right? Like full out on approving it, right? I think China was like, we don't care what the hell they do. We approving this thing 100%, right? It was no concessions, no weird stuff, no additional questions or anything like that. So I'm gonna double back on you, Slow-Mo, here and get your opinion on something real quick. Now, this was part of the poll of the week, so we're not gonna go all the way into the poll of the week because I didn't say we're gonna do that this week. But I do want to ask you, what do you think about the timeline on this? What would benefit? When would this benefit Microsoft the most by getting this done, and what time frame would this benefit them the most if they could get it done by?
I'm probably going to say the timeline that would benefit them the most is having it done by the beginning of July, which means it would be done before they would need to renegotiate the acquisition, everything and all that it entailed. So that would probably be where they would say it's the most opportune time to get it all completed. And the way for them to do that, they would probably need to force the FTC to try to do an injunction or something to stop the. Let's say they, after all this is done, they decide, after the EU has already done their approval, did they decide, we just gonna close the deal? They announced like next week, we closing the deal. If you don't like it, sue it. You're already suing us. Take us to court and do an injunction and just get this over with. Because what's going to happen is going to take it out of their court and put it in the federal court, speed the process up. And if you don't have a case, do you really want all that? You really want it pretty much would be kind of put up or shut up, call that bluff kind of deal, and that might speed the process up. I'm sick of this whole thing.
So
I get anything that makes this thing over with quickly is what I'm down with. So go ahead, Microsoft, call that bluff, throw your balls on the
table. Give Bobby his parachute.
I don't know how graphic we can get on the show. Throw your balls on the table and say, this is what we're doing. Put up or shut up and just get this over with so we can go on and move on.
Go ahead and they need to go ahead and cash out Bobby, do whatever they got to do, get him his money so he can get on up out of there, pay the rest of them shareholders.
Bobby better not stay after all.
No. We need him.
He needs a promotion and an extension. Let's go.
No,
that'd be great for the stocks.
We cannot have Bobby out here threatening no more secretaries to have them
with the booty cheeks cut out.
Maybe Phil will retire and they'll give him CEO of Microsoft Gaming to Bobby Kotick.
No.
Wow. Can you imagine?
Worst idea ever.
Can you imagine?
No.
It would be 30 plus studios just making Call of Duty.
There's new Call of Duty every 6 months.
Right. Every 6 months, yes.
We not rolling with that. Pong with the terrible idea. You a plant, aren't you? You must be
yeah.
You got books, so you've been studying that Don Matrick, that book, huh?
TV. Let's go. Let's
Oh
go.
man,
Get it
terrible,
rolling.
terrible. No, thank you. Get that out of here. No, but for real, man, this is a huge deal, man, and that's a huge domino. They kind of fell in their favor, and once again, like I said, I think we're kind of all ready to get past this, and seeing this, hearing this, it kind of gives us a bit of hope that the light is at the end of the tunnel sooner than later, right? So there's still some things they need to get through, but it feels like we're going in the right direction. So once again, man, shout out to everybody in chat who took part in the poll. We didn't do it this week, but shout out to everybody who took part in that. It was amazing. Stay tuned for that on Monday as well too. But I'm gonna throw this next topic, man. We're gonna start with you, Pong Harvey. Where are we going this week, man? What we doing?
Wait, you're starting with me? I'm not ready.
Yeah.
What the heck?
You're not ready?
Doing? I thought you were going fuzz first on everything. Now you're switching it up again. What are you doing?
Man, you got to be ready, man. Oh,
what are you doing? Okay, I'll go first. I got an easy one, a fun one. We got slow-mo here. This is going to be a good time. Listen, as part of the big week of news leading up to showcase season here, obviously we're starting to get games. We're starting to hear things. But one that's been teased for a while that we actually got a leak from their own investor call became official this week, and it couldn't have come from a better team, a better studio, a better producer than the one and only Ed Boon in NetherRealm. And of course, that's Mortal Kombat being, what should we say, reborn at this point? Reborn?
Yeah, essentially, right? Essentially.
Yeah, essentially, because it follows with the story from 11. If you have not played 11 and have not seen the story or played through the story, I highly recommend that you do. It is an awesome story, I think, personally, especially when it comes to the fighting genre. And the fact that they've continued it, I know, Steele said he wasn't too sure about the numbering system again, going back to 1 again, or whatever the case may be. But if they were going to do it this way, instead of going to 12, I think this is perfect. So we finally got the big announcement. We got the announcement trailer this week, which was no gameplay that we are aware of. Now, Boom teased a little bit.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying, but we got to see Liu Kang as a god for the first time here in this trailer. And obviously throughout the trailer, there was an overarching theme that I don't know how many people caught on to, but it was about you making decisions that would kind of dictate the future of the world. And so I'm kind of curious about that too, about where they take that. We don't know a whole lot right now. They've got to show us. And, Ed came out and said, we got so much more to show you. And we can't wait, a lot like Todd said about Starfield. But this is a big moment. Again, we now have the announcements of 3 of the biggest fighting games. 2 of them for sure are coming this year.
Good out here.
Yeah, fighting genre is back and is coming back, right? So
just missing one.
Yeah,
we're not ready.
We haven't seen a year like this for fighters in like a long time.
Oh yeah, it's been a long time.
No. All we knew is Bandai to show up, obviously, and Dead or Alive to show up, and we'd be all set here.
Soul Calibur, let's go.
Soul Calibur, exactly. Yep, and maybe even a KI.
Come on now.
Listen, that could be next year. That could be the big 3 next year. But obviously, Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 have both been announced. Street Fighter 6 is this year, but Mortal Kombat 1 got the release date, September 18th. September is going to be
crazy,
gigantic. Wow! Assuming that Spider-Man 2 does launch, Starfield, Spider-Man 2, and Mortal Kombat 1 all in the same month. Probably one of the greatest video game release months that we've had. Probably, I can 5
recent
6,
memory,
somewhere in there.
Recent memory, I would say.
So what a great week. So obviously I just want to get everybody's impressions, what you guys were thinking when you saw this trailer and the hype, because the internet did explode. Everybody who watched this trailer was hands down impressed. I will put this little nugget out there. 3-Bit hit us up in the DMs. He's obviously a developer. He's worked on, Playground and all those guys too, and a bunch of different people. Ubisoft, he says that he thinks that trailer was done using the MetaHuman for Unreal Engine 5. Okay. So if that's the case, obviously, like I said, Ed Boon kind of teased that maybe it's going to be pretty close to that come gameplay. We'll have to see, though. But I just want to get everybody's impression. So I'll start with you, Slow-Mo. Obviously, I don't know if I know where you stand on fighting games. I think you do enjoy them. No, not
anymore. I used to in high school. I used to be big into fighting games.
Okay,
I think it was mostly like all my friends in high school were big into fighting games. So we would play Darksiders.
Oh yeah.
And like we would build our characters, and I would put my character, load my character on a memory card to go over to my friend's house, and we would fight our like built up characters. We used to play rival schools.
Yep.
Ooh, love that.
Rival
Awesome,
schools. I love
Oh,
Marvel.
man.
Yep.
Marvel versus Capcom. You know, like just all the street. Like I was mostly into Capcom fighters for the most part, but like I would get down on some Dead or Alive. You know, some Soul Calibur. You know, saying ain't nobody trying to see me with Siegfried. Anyway, like I used to play. But it's just like I think sometime in college. Actually, I'll tell you when this switch came. Because I was always into RPGs. So for me, it was like RPGs and fighters.
Right.
But when shooters came out, first person shooters and tactical shooters like Ghost Recon,
of course,
came out, and I started to play those. Like the fighting games just kind of
dropped off.
It just dropped off on the wayside. So
it happens.
And I've just been big into the shooters, the first or third person perspective, really since then. But I don't really rock with fighters like that no more. Mortal Kombat, I think I was more of a fan of the story and the characters of Mortal Kombat than the actual like fighting. Like I said, like I prefer Capcom fighters more than anything else. And definitely NetherRealm, and back then Midway had a different fighting game design. But it's I'm actually somewhat excited for this one because like I remember
I was just about to ask you. I was about to ask you, did this touch, did this ignite something in you a little bit?
It did a little for multiple reasons, right? One, it's giving me that when you say MK1, I think they got a great opportunity to get old school like gamers who maybe some who don't play games no more, or old school fighting game gamers to be like, I might pick this up for nostalgia's sake,
right?
Just because you're talking about going back to the beginning. I think maybe I got the story wrong. I don't know. Liu Kang has like remade the world or something. So it's
correct. He is now the god, and he is remaking the world.
Yes. So now it's like, what, Johnny Cage is coming back. That was my dude. You know what I'm saying? Now you're getting
and we got the leak too, by the way. Jean-Claude Van Damme as the skin. Ooh, let's go.
I'm hearing all this rumor stuff that Homelander might be a skin. I'm the man from Invincible. And now like my homie like Eric Jackson's all like, hey man, we doing all this, man. I want to get Show Enough in there. Give me Show Enough from The Last Dragon and Bruce Leroy. Let's go.
Let's go.
You get them two in there, I will buy the highest edition possible. Like whatever the $100 like decapitation edition is, whatever it is called, I would get it. And I mean, even somewhat like considering getting it now, just because I kind of want to just play with like the old school fight, get that feel of like old school in the arcade playing Mortal Kombat, uppercutting dudes, hit them with the fatality, get off the sticks, who's next kind of feel. I just kind of want to do that again.
No,
so
I hear you. No, that's good to know too, because I'm not the competitive fighter guy at all. Everybody that's listening to me knows this. I love fighters. I love the animations. I love the special moves. I don't sit there and learn combos. I'm not that dude. I'm a button masher. So I play for the single player experience, right? And if they give me a story, great. If they don't, that's okay. I'll battle through arcade mode and have a great time. But Mortal Kombat's gone up and beyond recently. And so for me, this really does have my interest peaked with this one after playing through 11 and really loving the story, as I said previously. This one now, like you said, the refresh, the restart, and it's kind of full circle for me as well, because I worked at Funkoland during when Mortal Kombat launched originally on console, back on Genesis and Super Nintendo. So I went through launch day of Mortal Kombat, the first one that came to consoles. And what an experience that was back then. And here we are, 2023, all these years later, 30 years later.
How many arguments did you have to see of people complaining about sweat on the Super Nintendo version and not real blood?
The better question is, Slow-Mo, how many people did I convert to Sega Genesis that day?
Oh, right? Man.
Because when they found that out, I was having people come back trading in their Super Nintendos left and right? Because nobody wanted to play with that nonsense. But yeah, it's just so cool to see this come back. And like I said, that the theme that Liu Kang was kind of promoting through this trailer really has got me interested in if they do open up some type of open world kind of experience where you can run around. They've done it before in the past. I think it was Mortal Kombat. What was it? Armageddon, maybe? I can't remember anymore. They've done it before. If they open that up as well for me as a single player fighter, as a button masher dude, that's going to be even better. But again, Mortal Kombat offers so much as it is. I can't wait to jump into this. And it's not going to be day one because I'm going to be space pirating for probably the next 4 months. Starfield's going to be out. I'm not touching another game. But I am going to be hopping into Mortal Kombat 1. So I'm glad to hear that it piqued your interest, Slow-Mo. It is kind of a big deal. Fuzzy. Listen, sir, Mortal Kombat 1. Ed Boon he's a fun troll on Twitter. He likes to really get people going, and he puts out little things. And we've heard, he said that they're working on more than one project, but obviously then we had the leak. And so everybody kind of knew that Mortal Kombat was coming first. But for you, now that you've gotten a chance to see the trailer, and it went from, and I got to mention this too, this was crazy. The trailer itself, the contrast from the beginning of the trailer to the last 30 seconds of the trailer is something to behold. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go watch it. It starts out like this shiny, happy, we're creating a new world. They're showing off, Scorpion and Sub-Zero as brothers again. You got Melina and Kitana there and all this kind of stuff. And it's, and Lou's talking about, hey, you get to choose your destiny, how this world's going to be, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, it goes to a complete gore fest, right? People getting ripped in half, all the stuff that you associate
blood
with
raining
Kombat.
down,
Blood raining down is
into the ground.
crazy. The contrast between the two halves of that trailer. But for you, after you saw this, are you excited for September? And are you going to be day one? And where do you think this game falls in for this year and fighters in general for you there, Fuzz?
I've always been more of a Street Fighter fan, but this definitely has my interest peaked as well. I'm probably going to be playing more Starfield in September though, but I jump from game to game, so it'll be one of those things where I'll just do kind of like what you were saying, do like the arcade aspect of it, because I'm also a fellow button masher as well. But
yes,
I can't believe we have three of the bigs as far as this year coming out, as far as with Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1. Like, I almost wish there was a way for them to do like a crossover, but I know that's not happening, or at least not for some time. But yeah, the fact that they are kind of doing like a reboot to this, and we'll probably learn more of the mechanics of like the story aspect and things like that as we go along. But perfect timing. Was hoping there would have been a Killer Instinct thing mixed in there too, but this alone by itself is more than enough. Day one buy, probably not playing day one, but definitely playing sometime within the month of September. But man, it's great to see the blood and gore back. It's pretty much the big thing that defined the fighting genre once that game came out originally way back. So yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. Like I said, if Starfield wasn't showing up, I'd be getting this probably day one. If Starfield wasn't going to be there, I just know that it's just not going to get played. But I got, again, the exciting part, like you said, and I said in the beginning, is that the fighting genre is making a comeback, and that we've got three of the bigs announced now. If Tekken 8 makes it this year, oh my God. Right. We don't know for sure. That could be next year. Although, with all that we've seen of Tekken 8, people are like playing it. They're showing it off demo style. Like there's a lot going on. It's possible that we do get Tekken 8. What a year. 2020. I mean, we've talked about this so many times. 2023 is incredible. And it's shaping up to be, probably one of the GOATs for a year of video games. But if you get the three bigs back for the fighting genre on top of it, it's like we say, man, it's the golden age of gaming, right, Fuzz? So
Definitely.
yeah, PTK brother, let's
Sir.
get you in here, sir. Listen, we were in the DMs right away, right? We always are when things happen. Mortal Kombat, is beloved. It's the biggest fighting franchise at this point, right? Street Fighter was for a while, you could say, back in the day. But different decisions, Capcom's down years kind of caused it to fall off. And I'm not talking about the esports scene. I know Street Fighter is still gigantic there as well in the competition scene. But Mortal Kombat kind of took over where Street Fighter left off, especially after Street Fighter V, became exclusive to Sony, which was one of the biggest mistakes of Capcom. Obviously, they needed the money at the time. They were in a bad spot. Now they're doing great. So now Street Fighter VI is back on everything, which is fantastic. But Mortal Kombat is just a monster in sales every single time they pop out one. For you, seeing Ed Boon and NetherRealm go to work and seemingly, and again, we have to see gameplay, but if you look at their history, PTK, every time they've shown a trailer, even if it's been CGI or it hasn't been gameplay, the actual game itself, when it shows up, is very close, if not on par with whatever they showed us, right? So where, seeing this trailer and knowing, like I said, I gave you guys a little tidbit with what with what 3-Bit had told us that they're using MetaHuman Unreal Engine 5. For you, when you saw the trailer, you start thinking about it, you expecting it to look close as you think NetherRealm's going to pull it off? And do you think they're going to set the bar yet again for Mortal Kombat with Mortal Kombat 1 in this reborn kind of era? Like, hey, we don't think there's much more you can do. And yet here you show up and the fatalities are even more insane than they originally are. You've even got more content than was in Mortal Kombat 11. Do you think that's what we get out of Mortal Kombat 1? And do you, expectation wise, are you going to be playing this, shortly after it launches? What do you think, brother? Where are you at?
So first and foremost, shout out to all the fighting fans, the fans of the fighters, because you guys are eating lovely this year. Shout out to you guys. I'm not the biggest fighter fan. I'm more in slow-mo camp. I'm kind of shooter guy, looter shooter, Destiny kind of guy. So I don't play a ton of fighters, but like I said, they eating good this year. So where I'm at with it was I felt fantastic, and this is exactly what I expected out of NetherRealm, right? They're one of the most consistent devs to now. I know some people are like, well, they only make Mortal Kombat, but god damn it, they do a phenomenal job every single time. They really do. They're one of the few companies, I would say maybe Playground, who make a consistently great product, but somehow find a way to make the next game a little bit better. Now, I understand some esports guys, some purists have some issues with the combat and gameplay, but that's always going to exist, right? But anyway, minus all of that, I think the gameplay, not the gameplay, but whatever we saw looked phenomenal. I think it'll be close. It tends to be pretty close. The last couple games we saw CGI from, the gameplay actually was fairly close, right? Within reason, right? It'll never look as good as the CGI as a vertical slice, but it was it's indicative of the art style, right? It's indicative or close enough to what we're generally going to see. If that's any indication, we're going to see some next level stuff. And just it didn't throw me off. Obviously, we knew there was going to be some type of reboot. They essentially lead up to this with the clock going past 12 back to 1 kind of gave us an indication that there was going to be some type of remake, start over kind of deal. So seeing where they're at, seeing Liu Kang be the god of the verse, that was awesome. I've never been super big on the storyline, although I don't know if you guys remember there was a Sub-Hero game. You guys remember that Sub-Hero game? It was I can't remember what system it was on, but I enjoyed the story in that game. That was one of the few Mortal Kombat games that I actually enjoyed the story.
Was it a side scroller?
I can't remember.
Side scroller.
It might have been, man. I believe it was just based around Sub-Zero, though. I'm pretty sure, man. I gotta go back and do my research. Anybody in chat who might know, I can't remember what console it was on, but it's an old school game. But nevertheless, it looked phenomenal. I'm super excited for it. Ed always delivers.
Mythology, Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat, PlayStation 1, done by Midway, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go. See, so that game was actually really fun. The story was really good. It was kind of a one-off, right? It wasn't something that a whole bunch of people didn't come out and buy that thing and support it, but it was very interesting, and I actually enjoyed playing it. So it was fun for me. But yeah, I think it's a cool take on the verse, right? Seeing some of those older characters. Obviously, there was a leak regarding some of the, like you said, Omni-Man, Homelander. There's going to be some cool crossovers here. I wonder what they're doing next. I mean, they're big enough to be doing multiple different things. I'm just curious what else is on the table for them. I mean, this game is coming out September, so it's damn near done. It's pretty much polishing phase at this point since they already put a date on it. And speaking of September, great segue. Speaking of September, like you said, this may be, if everything hits the way it should between Mortal Kombat, between Starfield, between Spider-Man 2, September might be one of those months, man. It might be one for the books, as far as high quality, like generation changing type games. So I'm super pumped. Shout out to the Mortal Kombat fans. Shout out to the fighting fans. You guys are getting everything that you guys asked for. You guys have been waiting for a very long time for Capcom and NetherRealm and everybody to get on the same damn page and decide to drop these games. So I'm so glad everybody's eating good, man. But I'm excited.
I'm back. Jeez, oh man, I tell you. Anyways, one of those nights. No, I was gonna say, first of all, great points, PTK. But September itself, if all three of those hits, what is kind of fascinating is that it's all different genres too, and that's the cool part when we talk about all these games coming out. Is there's something for everybody, and that month there's going to be a lot for everybody, and that's really nice to see. I think the biggest question left on the table is who's got marketing rights for this. There was there was no indication here.
Who had marketing for the last one?
PlayStation, I think.
For 11. Was it I think it was PlayStation. Because I think
probably PlayStation.
Did Xbox have 10? I believe the year before that.
I don't remember.
I think they had Injustice or something.
I think they might have had Injustice.
Yes. So, but we already know Sony's got the marketing rights for Mortal Kombat 6. Oh my God, Street Fighter 6. And then we assume Tekken 8 as well, right? And so I'd hate it if they've got all three. I mean, again, is it a big deal as a gamer in the end of the day? No, but we talk more than just as being gamers here. And what's going to be curious is if Mortal Kombat 1 shows up at either the Sony show next week, or if it's not there, if my out on a limb prediction comes
Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, or they show up on the Xbox stage. And Xbox dropped the bag to get one of those fighters, right? And they've got a great relationship with WB. They've got, Ed Boon obviously has talked about doing a Killer Instinct. And again, that was my out there prediction that Ed Boon would come out on stage with Mortal Kombat, the new one, and then say, but that's not all. One of our other projects we've just begun work on, and just flash the KI. And that would, be a huge moment for Xbox. Now,
well, they are doing a 2-hour show, right?
Yes, hour and a half, and then 30 minutes for Starfield.
Okay. So 90-minute show.
Yep.
That's going to be longer than PlayStation show, and PlayStation has been not done a showcase in almost 2 years.
Correct. Over
so
600 days.
I would assume that it will be like kind of typical what we see with a lot of shows where the middle has a bit of filler, like they hit you, like they come in fast, right off the breaks with something exciting as your opener. And then they hit you with a couple more things that's exciting. And then they start telling you about like some services they're working on and maybe a controller or two, some third party stuff. That's where in the middle you start to get like, hey, this is the partner marketing stuff.
Or with Xbox, it's ESO, Fallout 76, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves,
right? Right. Where they hit you with all, hey, remember when we launched this game 2 years ago? Well, guess what? We got an expansion for you. You don't care? Okay, but we're going to show it to you anyway. and then they show you, another expansion for Forza Motorsport. Horizon. And then they show you that we still care about State of Decay too. Because here's some more rocket launchers for those blood deaths or whatever they call it. And then near the end is when they start hitting you with new stuff.
Yes.
Hey. Look, you didn't even know we were working on this. Bam, we're working with IO Interactive with some Dragon game. Yeah, they're not even doing Assassins anymore. Look at that. Then they start hitting you with more stuff, and then the one more thing at the end, which hopefully ain't a Redfall level game, but still like something at the end to kind of make you go, wow, I didn't expect that. So that's usually like the format of their show, and I can see like somewhere in the middle-ish, they be like, it's Mortal Kombat. But although I don't know whether you get gameplay this soon. If they were going to, they announced it on their own with a CG trailer. If they show up in like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
Are they going to show up with gameplay? I don't know.
Man, you never know.
It could be, I know what you're saying, Slow-Mo. It's not the norm per se, but with Ed Boon and that team, I could see them doing the teaser trailer and then they save the gameplay portion for their marketing partner who's paid a lot of money and they've got a big stage at one of the shows. So I could see them doing a gameplay trailer that soon, and just because it's that time of the year, right? It's showcase season, right? So I definitely could see them doing it, but it would be out of the norm. And I do understand what you're saying there. So, but I'm just curious to see what stage it shows up at, who's got the marketing rights. I hope Xbox has got one of these. Again, I know the popularity contest and PlayStation wins. 8 times out of 10, but every once in a while I like to see Microsoft get something, and I really hope they have a deal with WB. I'd like to see Wonder Woman get timed exclusivity for Xbox or something. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if they could do a package deal, I think it would have been pretty good. And WB, as we know, WB Discovery, they certainly could use a bag of money. Hogwarts helped them. But they could still use a bag of money. So,
like getting those timed, those marketing deals can be really really good. You mentioned Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, correct.
That's sold PlayStations.
Yes,
because of the marketing deal. People were going like the homie Forte, my co-host with DPS. Like he had people coming in like, man, I'm trading in my Xbox. I gotta get that Hogwarts, and he like, what? Why?
But it has to. So the thing about it is Sony's been extremely picky, like the way they've been able to pick those deals and who they get exclusively, who they've been able to go out and get marketing rights have seemed to be more successful than, even though Xbox is going out and had some big names, they've had marketing rights to some big games. They don't seem to be as consistently
They've
successful.
been really unlucky, like Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk,
Anthem. Remember they had
crazy.
Oh, they had Mike Ybarra out here trying to say, ain't that bad, man. It's not that bad a game. Like, God, good grief, Mike. Like, it was just like the game's nowhere near what we thought it was going to be. Come on now. So, but it's just like, it's like it's choosing the right marketing partner to roll with. And I think, I don't know if they get a chance to look at the game, like really look at the game before they put these deals together. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But it seems like they haven't had the best luck in that department.
No.
But I think
they've been jinxed.
No matter how good or bad MK1's going to be, that is going to, people are going to be looking for that game, and you need to have the marketing for that. Throw the bag at them. You know WB love money. Just give them whatever they want.
Exactly. No, I agree wholeheartedly, and it would be a huge get. It would be amazing to see that happen. So, but we're going to find out very shortly. But anyways, brothers, great conversation, great discussion on Mortal Kombat 1. Again, as PTK said, shout out to all the real fighting fans out there, the hardcore, the competitive. You guys are eating really good right now across the board. So awesome to see. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Not a problem, man. Shout out to everybody in chat, man. Shout out to the 60+ people hanging out with us, man. Subscribe, hit that like button if you're new here. Appreciate you guys once again. Follow our guest. All his information is down in the description below. But, man, we're going to keep things going, man. We got a great pace halfway through the show, keeping things cooking, man. So let's throw this over to you, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. Where you taking us this week, brother?
Let's see. Got one of two topics. Should we do Destin or just a PlayStation showcase?
That's the whole topic.
Crazy, right?
All right. I don't want to do the Destin one just yet. We'll save that for the end. Let's do PlayStation showcase as far as predictions, and I guess more so, what, if any, surprises do you expect from it, whether it be hardware or a particular big name title, timed exclusive type of thing? What are like 3 things that you definitely expect? or would love to see from the PlayStation Showcase
Three
for
things.
next
Hold
Wednesday?
on, man. Let me get my pen and paper. I gotta be writing stuff down. Okay.
So I'll start with you, Slow Mo.
I just okay.
You got
Hold on,
caught.
give me a second. Give me. Keep talking. I might get you three.
Well, I mean, for like PlayStation hasn't had their big showcase for like almost 2 years now. They've done a lot of state of plays in the meantime, and we've seen a couple of leaks. We've seen a couple of studios, kind of retweet or quote tweet the showcase coming up Wednesday. So there might be some of those surprises from those teams that they've partnered with. We've also seen some negative stuff in the news as far as some of those partner teams that may have did their big reveal or show behind the scenes and kind of got nixed or cut or some scaling down as far as the funding. But as far as what you've either heard, seen, or would expect, what are just basically some of the three things that you would like to see or at least three things that you'd like to see at PlayStation Showcase next Wednesday?
I can't speak on what I've heard.
Uh-oh.
But I would give you three.
Well, Slow-Mo, I don't know if you know, we do have the co-mayor of Speculation Town, so you can actually say what you want.
Yeah, no, the doors are open. Yeah, no,
yeah.
And I was actually told one particular thing that I'm fairly certain is going to be there that I can't speak on that, but I will because I'm telling you, I speak on.
Come on, there's no Sony insiders, so whatever you heard is wrong anyway, Slow-Mo. So stop.
It's just I'm telling you, this person told me when the showcase would be dropping in November.
Okay.
What
are you talking to Herman Holst?
No. Me and Herman play chess together. On
nice.
No, that's not Herman Holst. But look, I would say this: the actual PlayStation insiders don't advertise that they're PlayStation insiders.
Yeah.
So like you find out the ones and you be like, hey, when's such and such thing happening? Oh yeah, that's going down in late May. Oh, really? Yeah. But they tell you that in DM. They don't be like hey guys, take this with a grain of salt on Twitter. May or may not be happening in April. There's going to be a show that's going to show you Factions 2, Killzone 5, blah 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 blah. But they might change it. But telling you that's what's going to happen. But if it doesn't happen, it's because they changed it. Like what?
Is what you
which
know?
Which one is it?
Slow-Mo, are you saying what you have heard is nothing that has been put out there so far? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
don't do that with Pong. He'll read between the lines. He gonna break the argument down real
we can
quick.
break this down a little.
Yeah.
10 questions.
Let me just get my predictions before Pong. He's trying to get something out of me.
Bro. You didn't even know it, huh?
I'm co-mayor. I'm co-mayor of Speculation Town. I have the rights.
Man.
Okay, so
Pong will be like,
Paul, you didn't even know he was going down.
So based upon what you're saying, Slow-Mo,
yes.
Is it a IP buy? I'm like, what are you doing?
Even though he was having a conversation, that's crazy.
Let's do hot and cold, Slow-Mo.
We're not. So fuzzy. So the three, I would say number one, and I based this off of something you had said in your question about hardware. And if you go back to Tom Henderson / Inside Gaming, they've been talking about for over a year now. They've been talking about the PlayStation's been working on a portable disk drive. For I guess like a way to help people who have a digital PS5 be able to play games with a disc and stuff. So it's been kind of fuzzy on the fuzzy on the details in regards to like the design of it, like the form and factor, or how exactly it works. But I imagine, because Inside Gaming said it will be coming out this fall or this holiday, that they would show it at the showcase, their annual showcase, to kind of give people an idea of what to look for. And then as time gets closer to the release of it, they start talking pricing and, you know, additional features or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So that's my first prediction. My second prediction is I think that we will get a game from Blue Point, but it's not
a new IP.
I think it will be a new IP. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they are working on 2 games. One is another remake, and one is an actual new IP that's going to be something original they actually created. And I think because I've heard people talk about Blue Point doing a new IP years ago, that seems, and they dropped like well before them dropping Demon Souls remake. So it would seem to be like a new IP would be further along and a more stake to actually show a vertical slice of than whatever remake they're also working on. So that'll be my second prediction. And then my third is that it's pretty simple. I think we're going to see Spider-Man 2 gameplay because that's coming out. They're also going to do the release date. And I think what is, I would say, a bit out of left field, I think they're going to show us something in the gameplay that's going to make it unique and different from Spider-Man 2018.
I agree.
Morales.
I agree.
And I feel like they got to, because like the gameplay's awesome, and I platinum both of those games, and I played them through completion on PC when they came out on PC. So I'm fully invested in Insomniac's MCU stuff. But I think that if they just have, especially the way Miles' power set is, which is not their fault, it's how Marvel created them. He's got way more unique and different powers than Peter Parker does. That said, it made the gameplay of Miles Morales to be far more dynamic and fun than the gameplay in 2018 Spider-Man. And you can't go back at that point. You have to find some way to one-up it. Whereas if that is Spider-Man using the Venom suit, he having the symbiote suit on, and him actually using that suit in ways that like the symbiote,
I can see that happening.
Yeah, can actually allow it, where like, maybe the suit's coming off and he choking people or stuff. Like who knows, right? And it's just like, I think that would be, they have to kind of find some kind of way to make it different than before, because if it's stale old combat, but the only difference is it looks better because it's not a cross-gen game, it runs better, and the story is hits. I mean, that's all great and all, but that's going to be a 85 Metacritic thanks but no thanks kind of experience, where people are going to play it for a week or two, and then they're going to act like it didn't exist a month for after that. You want something that's definitely going to have people like, man, when they're coming out with a DLC for this expansion, you want that kind of experience. And I think Insomniac's going to deliver that.
Yeah, there's no way Insomniac is a top tier dev. There's almost no chance that they don't.
I think they're the best. I think their PlayStation's the best.
So they are, and I will argue anybody about this. If you want to just say value, they've been carrying PlayStation for 2-3 years now. Not carrying, but they've been the donkey essentially of PlayStation, carrying the majority of the weight over there. And they've been excellent at it. Excellent. They haven't missed yet. So
you look at their cadence of releases, they release 3 high quality games for every 1 game the other studios release.
Yeah, it's insane, bro. It's insane. They're amazing.
And they may not be 90 rated games, like freaking Naughty Dog will drop a 96 game or something, and Sony Santa Monica the same thing, but they're high to mid 80 Metacritic, good quality, fun experiences, and they'll drop 3 of those before you finally get one out of those other studios. You just can't pass up that level of quality, I think.
No. Here's a side question for you. Do you think Spider-Man 2 has any VR integration?
I don't know. Look, Insomniac has done a VR in the past, but they haven't done any VR since they have been acquired. But now that they're big into VR2, PSVR2, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if that was something that turned out to happen with this one. Like, it's going to be VR, not at launch, because usually with those kind of games where it's like it's a traditional game, but it's also VR. Like, we see Capcom do that with Resident Evil and their their VR experience of Resident Evil always comes later. So like that wouldn't surprise me if that was the case, if it was later. But I don't think if they were going to do that, they would announce it at the show quite yet.
Okay.
Be like something later on. Yeah.
All right. Pong, what are your thoughts as far as
bullets?
Pong, what are your thoughts as far as 3 things you expect to see or would like to see at the PlayStation Showcase?
Are we going fantasy land, or are we sticking around in reality here? Because I mean,
you can do a bit of both.
I can sit here and name IPs I want them to show off all damn day. Listen, I you know, all right. So let's go here. Number 1, I really want to see Cory Barlog's new IP.
Man,
the
that was on my
switching
list. Yep, that was on my list.
Yep, I want to see a teaser. I don't care. I mean, if it's early and we don't get much out of it, I just want to know.
A 10-second trailer is fine with me. Yeah.
Again, I want to see his. I just love it when obviously, you know, people who have proved themselves, you know, over a long period of time get a chance to do something new. And what he did with obviously, you know, rebooting God of War and bringing it back in a big way, you know, gave him the ability to move on to something that he obviously wanted to do. So I want to see his take on whatever this sci-fi is, if that's what it turns out to be. I mean, again, that's just the smoke. We don't have any idea. It could be, you know, a Red Dead Redemption, Wild Wild West kind of game. We don't know. But if it is sci-fi, I definitely want to see Cory Barlog's game. Number 2, this one isn't personal for me in any way, shape, or form, but it is so long overdue that it's ridiculous, and it's got to be Bloodborne. Bloodborne needs to come back in a big way. It's deserving of it, you know, and there's such a powerful fan base out there that, you know, this is, to a lot of people, one of the greatest, if not the greatest Souls game of all time. Bloodborne should be there, and I think that would be massive for Sony if they do have that there. So I'd love to see Bloodborne come back. And then let's see here. Let's where do I want to go for the final one here? Final one. Let's see here. I'm going to go with a fun one. And I said this the other day too as well, but I'm going to go for a fun one. This one is personal for me, but it's another IP that I think was closeted way too soon by Sony, mothballed way too soon. And I think that now that they're trying to create some diversity again in their lineup, I think it's time for it to return. And of course, that's going to be SOCOM. SOCOM needs to come back. Yeah. I think an announcement of SOCOM, and I've said this with the following condition. This can't be a half-hearted attempt by Sony at bringing back SOCOM. If they're going to jump back into the space, and I think that they honestly do want to, if they're going to, they need to go full out, and they need to give SOCOM the royal treatment, and they really need to put their best foot forward with it. It's not just like hey, we really need a shooter, or we really need a games as a service, or we really need this, so let's just throw a game together with SOCOM on it, and let's try it and see what happens. No. You're in 2023. The competition is extreme now, especially in that space. You've got to go all out if you want to make a mark, but you already have the advantage of having a historical name when it comes to third-person shooters in SOCOM, one that is still known today. Sure, there's like 2 generations that have never played a SOCOM game before, but at the same time, there's enough of us old heads out here now that are still gaming, and again, we make up a big portion of the gaming world, that we will drive the hype forward on that. So I would love to see SOCOM back. And now I'll throw one final one in here for fun. Sly Cooper. This is also another personal one for me. Sly Cooper is my Jackson Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper was my favorite. That raccoon has got some of the best storylines, some of the best writing, I thought personally, of that genre. I love Sly Cooper, and Sony has sat on him for way too long. So bring back Sly Cooper. So there you go.
I like that. I like that list. That's a good one.
Now, speaking of like with Sly Cooper, just for example's sake, do you think Insomniac, being the talented studio that they are, they could knock something like that out and sit on it for a bit?
Insomniac, you said?
Insomniac, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, obviously they've got the talent to do it. Does Insomniac need to do Sly Cooper? I don't think so. I think you could have a lot of studios that could pull off a Sly Cooper. It's not a specialty per se kind of game where you need a certain team to be able to do it. The writing has to be on point for me with Sly because that's what I enjoyed. I actually really did. It was just awesome. So that's the only thing you got to worry about. But as far as the game itself goes, yeah, no, for sure. Insomniac could knock it out of the park. Insomniac, again, for me, Insomniac is one of the best in the business. They could knock anything out of the park. I don't
pretty much.
I don't
trust them with anything.
I don't think
real.
they have
Yeah.
a weakness. So for sure they could do that. And I definitely think that it could be a side project. It could be a passion project. This isn't some big giant franchise where you got to have 100 devs on it, right? This is something that you do like Grounded with Obsidian. You get a passionate group of 14, 20 people together, and you have them start working on a Sly Cooper. I think they definitely could do something like this for sure, Fuzzy.
Nice. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that SOCOM makes some sort of an appearance at some point. But
it would need to be a new. I feel like SOCOM. It's been so long. It would need to be like almost a whole new game design.
Yeah,
I mean,
it definitely would be.
Yeah.
Still third person perspective,
Yes.
like the previous games were. But it would need to.
It'd be a complete overhaul.
Oh, what if it's like you know how like people want Ghost Recon to be Ghost Recon again?
Yes.
I was just gonna go there slow mo. If you made it tactical,
oh my god, that'd be perfect. Like
yes.
Ubisoft dropped the ball, you pick it up and run with it. All right, like people they out here trying to turn Ghost Recon into Apex Legends and crap. Like and you go make SOCOM and really kind of like not necessarily make it like copy. Funny someone copying Ubisoft copy everyone else is funny, but no, like kind of like draw inspiration from Ghost Recon, that theme of openness but tactical at the same time.
Yes.
And that mission structure, like old school Ghost Recon back in the day, where you would have to like actually sit down and plan out your ops before doing
Rainbow
it.
Six.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six back in the day, same thing. You had to plan it out. You had one guy carrying the C4, setting up the charges on the doors. And doing
so perfect.
It's so good. It's so
good.
good.
You got to see, make sure that the hostage isn't by the door when you blow the wall. So like make it like that, something that like. Of course, you want it to be a mass, and you gotta understand the kind of audience and the newer gamer are now that they're a little. I'm not saying brain dead, but a little impatient. They may not want to do all the planning, but at least have it be something like where you can have it automate the plans.
Yeah.
Or you could do it manually yourself. So that's us old
Like
school guys can actually, us old school guys can go do that and let the kids just run out there and get shot at in the face or something, but just as long as like a headshot's a headshot,
right?
Like I have to, if I'm a snipe, I actually have to like center my shot a little ahead and a little higher to adjust for distance and wind and the approach and everything. Like I want that kind of realism again.
Yeah,
there's an opening there now, Slow-Mo, like you said. There is an opening to do it. You have to do it right, but there is one that genre is missing that right now. And I think again, you keep it third person, that's even better, right? That really sets it apart. Man, it would be fantastic to see it come back. I really do want to see it.
Sounds like somebody's cat agrees.
Fuzzy
I keep trying to mute when she's up here talking to me. She's like, "Who am I talking to on my computer?" But sorry about that, guys.
It's all no problem.
It's all good.
So Blam, what are some of your must-haves or like 3 things you would really like to see or that you would expect to see at the PlayStation Showcase next week?
Oh man, so many things. And so Pong already mentioned one of my first ones. That probably would have been first on my list, and that's Corey Barlog's whatever he's doing. Because like Pong said, I want to reiterate this, that man has earned the right to do whatever the hell he decides he wants to do to make whatever kind of game he wants. And I want to peek into his brain at this point in time. Where are you at? What are you doing? Because we understand budget's not going to be a thing. They're going to give him full creative freedom, and I want to see what that looks like in a new IP form, right? It's supposed to be some type of, don't we already have some type of like idea. Is it supposed to be some type of space game? I believe.
sci-fi.
Yeah,
Something
like
along those lines,
sci-fi-ish,
Yep.
ish, right? So I
Yeah.
just want to give me a 10-15 second teaser trailer with some CGI. I am good to go. Just give me a general idea. I don't even need a name specifically. Maybe a name, but if not, I'm cool, right? Like I just want to see a little bit of what he's doing because I think it's going to be really special. A new IP from him and the hand-picked team that he went out and grabbed, and everybody he grabbed to make this game is going to be very, very special. Another one I want to throw out there, nobody's mentioned it, but it was Twisted Metal. Once again, that I've been hearing that as well. We got the TV show right around the corner. You know what I mean? Like that's coming. So Sony's not going to miss an opportunity just in case the TV show does hit. Maybe it finds this niche and does.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
So you can't forget about that opportunity. That's very and it's a game.
Oh, you know what?
Ask for.
That is in development. It was initially in development by the devs that did Destruction All Stars.
Yeah,
but they pulled them off of it, which I'm not surprised because Destruction All Stars.
It wasn't. Yeah,
and I don't know. There's a different studio that's doing it. I can't remember who it is or if that was even announced. But I remember David Jaffe, former creator of Twisted Metal, talking about how I think they either came to him for a consultation, or he offered to do one, something like that. But he's talked about it being in development. So yeah, I guess it would make sense that they will want to try to have it out somewhere around the time
the TV show. Yeah.
The latest smoke slow-mo is possibly Lucid Games.
Okay.
Lucid Game. That does sound familiar. I don't remember what.
Who did they make? What did they make? What does Lucid Game make?
Let me find that out real quick here. Hold on. Lucid Games. I'll bring that up, PTK, if you want to keep it.
No. Yeah, I'll keep going.
Made Goat Simulator.
It's
not. No. Lucid Games did Destruction All Stars, so they're the ones that got taken off.
So they're the ones that got off. Okay, I forgot that it was Lucid. Okay, all right, forget it then. That was old.
All right. no big deal. So that once again, that makes sense from a timeline standpoint, from an opportunity to pair that with the movie, because you got to understand this newer generation they're not familiar with Twisted Metal. That's us. Right, that's for us really. So you got to be able to introduce that in a proper way to a new generation. Why not through two forms of media, a TV show as well as a video game? If one doesn't hit, one might be able to prop the other one up. Transmedia, like you said,
It's proven to work.
It's proven to work even more after Last of Us TV show, after Arcane, all these other ones, Cyberpunk. Edge Runners. It's proven to work. If you can do both at a high quality level,
Arcane, League of Legends,
exactly.
It works, man.
They will benefit. So maybe they take advantage of that. The third thing, and I'm calling Sony out on this, and I'm lifting this. Well, I'm not gonna say do it, but I'm pulling the shades back essentially on this question that's been circling around Sony. I need to see those games as a service games. Sony, you got to show me you can do this multiplayer thing, because you haven't shown me you can do this multiplayer thing. So you threw that hat away a long time ago, Slow-Mo. They said we're not doing that anymore. Let's go ahead and continue to sell 30 million copies of these first party, these first party narrative driven third person games. That formula works. Now they're doing something different. They've already came out and said they've announced 15 or something in the next 4 or 5 years. Games as a service. I need to see what those games are, and is the fan base going to support those games? What are they going to look like? Because they're not weaned. That ecosystem isn't weaned on those kind of games. You don't make those anymore. So I need to see what Haven is doing. I need to see what was it. Fire Sprite is the other one. There's another one. Fire something.
Yeah.
That, by the way, that's the latest. That's Tom
Firewalk.
reported. Fire Sprite was the latest team that supposedly is handling Twisted Metal, according to Tom Henderson.
Okay, so
makes sense. They brought it in house. Okay, because they own Fire Sprite.
That makes sense. Yeah. And Haven, I know they're doing something third person. Yes. Not third. I don't know. I think Jay Raymond might have even gave a description of the game. Like the genres. I think it's a mix of a few different genres, but I believe that might be another games as a service. They got some studios. I want to see what they do in that area, because they just don't do that anymore. They don't make those kinds of games. They've completely given up on multiplayer just in that aspect in their ecosystem. They don't make those games, so we'll see. I guess I got a couple other outliers. I like the SOCOM one, Paul. I really like that SOCOM one. That would be really, really interesting to see if they come back. I think a lot of people will embrace that. You are right. There is an opening there for that kind of game. There really isn't anything in that genre. Nobody's doing anything in that genre, right? Nobody. So That'd be interesting to come back. I'm trying to think of
I've seen
anything
some
else.
indie games on PC that have tried to fit that niche.
The
And
Yeah,
okay.
somebody's
They- and
making one right now, right?
there's one called Ready or Not on
Yes.
Steam.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
really,
Okay.
really good, and it got a little bit of traction out there, enough that I would say that if someone, a big publisher with a big budget, wanted to make a AAA game that's a tactical third-person shooter, you would, or even first-person perspective, if you wanted to,
Yeah.
you have an opportunity to find a lane and make some good money, because
Yeah.
like that Ready or Not is really kind of I wouldn't say completely bare bones, because it looks good. It looks good for what it does, but
And there's a decent mod support for it too. 'Cause
right.
I've played it. It's what Ubisoft should be doing with Rainbow Six. Like, do Rainbow Six Siege 2 or something by this point, or continue to iterate and look at what some of these smaller teams are doing, while somebody like Ubisoft should be doing that day and date, or doing that right now type of thing.
So I do have a couple other ones too, Pone. I mean, Fuzz, before I let you go here.
Mhm.
The other one would be a new game from Bend. Obviously they made Days Gone. They did not get a chance. Sony took the Days Gone 2 off the table. So they didn't, they put that email right into that email, went straight to trash. It didn't even, it went to spam. They sent the email like, we working on Days 2. They're like, nope, straight to spam. You're not doing that. You're doing something else. So we know they're doing some other game. They're working on probably a new IP of some sort. Maybe who knows? I'd love to see what. Go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. Jason Schreier reported that. Remember when Jason Schreier kind of exposed the whole XDev studio fiasco with The Last of Us, and XDev wanted to make a remake of Uncharted 1, and Sony didn't allow it to go through. Where, and all of that, which also resulted in a lot of like the ex-directors of Sony Bend coming out and speaking out about Days Gone.
Yeah.
It's been said that Days Gone Sony Bend post Days Gone was they pitched Days Gone 2, and it was said that both Sony and like the leadership at Sony Bend said no. Then they decided to they were tasked to be helping on that unannounced Uncharted game. And then at some point they pitched a brand new IP they got approved. So now that's what they're working on. So the thing is that from the timeline of when Days Gone came out to now, I'm not certain they have enough of a game yet for their new IP to be able to, because they some of that time was spent on as a support studio helping work on the Uncharted game. So if they really may only have like a year under their belt with the new IP, that might not be enough time to show something.
Okay. All right. And then the last one will be what I think we're gonna see maybe a Ghost of Tsushima 2. I'd love to see
I would love it.
I mean, Sucker Punch, they did a phenomenal job with that game. And I'd love to see, I know Sony fans, a lot of people go crazy just for a little trailer of some sort. You don't even need to show really any gameplay, but just a quick trailer would go crazy. So it would be kind of cool if we saw something there as well too. But that would really be, I know you said 3, but I gave like 5 or 6. So but that's fine. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
What improvements would you like to see off of the first game?
You just asking all of us kind of in general?
Oh no, I was going to ask you because it was your suggestion, so I was just wondering if you had any thoughts.
No, I mean, I don't really know. Like, I'm be honest with you. The game was great as is. I mean, some people had some gripes. I know with the combat here and there. But
really, I love the combat.
Yeah,
there were some people had some gripes with the combat. I know there was a few people here and there. But yeah, it's tough to say what they need to do better. I just want them to expand on an already great IP. I don't think that's not a what do they need to do better or expand on. That question doesn't fit Ghost of Tsushima, because what do they need to really do better, right? They need to expand on what they already have, in my opinion, right? So that's kind of where I would go, rather than pick specific areas that they need to do better. And I would just say expand on what you already have, because it's such a great story, great characters. You already got a phenomenal engine. Just build on top of that.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely build on top of that. Like I love the combat. I love
Yeah.
the setting. I love the fact that you could go like straight black and white mode. It's just it's
Yeah.
so it hits on every like aspect of what you would expect from that kind of game. And actually that year it came out, I enjoyed it more than Last of Us Part 2. I beat both games when
That's
I
not
put
a that's not as crazy as you think it is. A lot of people enjoyed it more than Last of
Yeah,
Us
that
2
was
that
more
year.
of my game
Yeah, I
of
was
the
gonna say,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, I also loved how it didn't have, even though it's very much like a Ubisoft open world kind of format, game
Mhm.
design. I liked how they didn't have waypoint markers.
Yeah.
Instead, it
Yeah.
was the wind that was kind of like pushing you in a direction towards
Yeah.
where you were trying to go, which I just
Mhm.
thought that was
Really
like,
subtle, really neat game, kind of a
yeah,
gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that was so good. That was so
Yeah.
good. I would love for, I think combat wise, keep what you got, but maybe of course like more animations, more methods of dispatching your enemies, maybe
More
more
weapon types.
forms, weapon types, right?
Yeah, weapon
Um,
types would be good, yeah.
but I would say it to go like to kind of like build off of what you had, maybe allow Jen to work on like literally building certain areas, so like you liberate an area from
Mhm.
the Mongols, and then now you can actually like get into the management side of things, moving troops certain areas, defending what you've already
That'd be really
liberated.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it kind of almost feel like more like a war than it already is, because like I mean in the first game you just literally just wiping them out, just going across the map, being that guy. Everyone's saying, "No, Jen, don't do it like that. That's not honorable, man. That's that honor crap, man. I'm trying to win, and poisoning people and all kinds of stuff like that stuff was great." But then it didn't really get into the other side of things, logistics, and like do you have enough troops to go assault this and stuff like that. I think not to make it too much of a like almost like a stay decay kind of simulator kind of thing, but just kind of
Mhm.
like allow you some of those options, like man, like Dragon Age Inquisition, for example, RPG. But then you would get to the table and you'll be with your commanders, and you'll be like literally making decisions like, we're going to move this faction over here and deal with this issue, and you had to make the right decisions for this right situation. You're not going to send assassins in to go liberate a town that's under siege, but then you would
Mhm.
send the soldiers to go do something like that, but then send the assassins to go take out like somebody as quickly as quietly as possible. That kind of like decision making, I would love to see that they implement something like that. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. Or have them do like a distraction attack on one of the smaller outposts while you sneak in to rescue one of the hostages, kind of thing.
Right, that'd be
That
great.
that that would definitely be the next step for them on that game. But the different weapon types like bow staff, the almost like that scion like a rope type of deal, like what they had in
Mm-hmm.
Sifu, where the one chick would throw that thing at you and slice you
Yeah,
from like 2 feet away or 5 feet away type of thing. So yeah, having different weapons would definitely be a
Yeah.
big thing for me on that. But man, that's well, getting to like the PTK. Did you have any other additional ones to add to that list
No,
of
no,
things?
no. No, that was it. That was my list. I'm good to go.
For me, Ghost of Tsushima 2 is one of the big ones because, like I said, that was my game of the year when that game came out. I would definitely like to see. I don't expect it to be out for another couple of years, but at least see like the early signs of it, kind of thing, like what they're working on, if it's a different island or more of Japan, different regions and things like that. Definitely would like to see Ghost of Tsushima 2 there. Now, and you kind of joked about like, are we listening to Jim Ryan on Twitter before? Um,
man,
and he
people
kind
want to
of
take them
doused.
as the gospel for some reason. I'm just like, y'all know who this is, right? Y'all remember who this guy
Well,
is?
well, he kind of doubts one of my hopes as far as at least from this showcase. Now, I still think like kind of like what Herman Hulst had said about their games as a service probably being day and date, because that makes sense. Any games as a service type of thing, you're going to have day and date on PC along with the console for player based purposes at least.
Right. Right. You
Um,
need that player base. You need bodies to keep a game alive. Yeah, makes
but
sense.
to me, I was all hopeful that, you know, Gran Turismo 7 would be the next PC port. I know there's probably ones that would be, you know, better earning or fare better for them, but there's something about, and it's not that the PlayStation 5 is limited, but it's like you can only race against 20 cars as far as AI. The AI aren't always the greatest. There's the ray tracing on the replays, but not on the track. So maybe PC pushes it that next level to the point where I can do 30 cars on track, all of them with ray tracing, and still do 60 frames. I mean, they recently did 120 frame mode, but it looks a little washed out on my OLED. But I was hoping that that would be the next one, but that might be further down the card. But as far as outside of Ghost of Tsushima 2, definitely agree with Pong on like a Twisted Metal deal. Twisted Metal is one of those old school games that definitely needs to return. SOCOM's another one, but I expect that that's going to be sometime down the road. I don't know if it's going to be one of their games as a service. Maybe, you know, the inspiration to, you know, get Sony off their butt to do it will happen after, you know, the ABK deal closes. Maybe that's when they'll be like, you know what, let's target on killing, you know, Call of Duty or something to rival it from in-house that you know is more in sync with the times kind of thing. But expect the Twisted Metal. I would love to see Twisted Metal. Expect Ghost of Tsushima 2. And then I've been hearing 2 different games from Bungie. I mean, considering Bungie is one of their studios now, even though, yeah, it may not be an exclusive, they're still going to, you know, produce for, you know, all platforms, or at least that was the initial verbiage. I'm not sure if it's going to be Marathon or Matter. Matter is supposedly that new IP before they were acquired that they were hinting at or working on. But since they've been acquired, I've heard rumblings of Marathon and it being kind of repurposed as like not really an Escape from Tarkov, but like more of an extraction shooter type of game. So I'm kind of hoping that that one's there, or whatever Bungie's next, you know, big title, whether it be a reboot or their new one. I kind of want to see that at the next showcase, because, you know, makes sense with Destiny 2 probably wrapping up in a year or two. Well, not necessarily wrapping up, but it seems like they're starting that Swain song for it, and I don't think there'll be a Destiny 3 since it's not a Activision call type of thing. But you know, would like to see something from Bungie. And then I'll just add one additional one that's like this must have, that it's now time to show it. It's been, you know, a long time coming type of thing. Factions, I would almost have to say has to be there, probably more so than Spider-Man 2, because they could probably get away with just doing a state of play for Spider-Man 2. But Factions at this point, I think, and this is not to sound like a fanboy or anything like that, it's time to stop showing concept art and show the actual game. I'm under the impression there's a lot more to it. Like I'm almost envisioning something that's like what would be a perfect evolution of The Division, but with obviously with the clickers and things like that, and other players and other, you know, AI, you know, or not factions, but, you know, other groups that you're going to have to counter against and stuff. But those are the ones I expect to see at this next showcase. But, you know, we'll see if any of that comes true. But loved all of your guys's you know, ideas, like especially like the Cory Barlog one, as far as that sci-fi thing. I hope it's close enough to at least see, like, even if it's just a 15-second trailer and like a project name type of thing. Yeah, it may not come out for a couple of years, but if it's another sci-fi, and, you know, being another sci-fi fan, I hey, show it. I'll definitely be anxiously waiting for that, when it comes out, type of thing. But thank you guys for that. Hey, I've rambled enough, but
That's all
those
good.
were awesome ideas as far as what you would like to see at the showcase, guys.
Awesome, man. And we're gonna get into some questions now, man. We got some time left on the show, man. It's been an amazing show. We got an amazing guest here. Shout out to everybody in chat showing love. What's up, Umbra? Sliding in here. A little fashionably late, but appreciate you, man. Shout out to everybody sharing the link live. You guys have been freaking amazing, man. But I do want to get into something. I know you kind of peeled the band-aid a little bit off of this fuzz, but we didn't really get into it though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, we gonna get messy here, slow mo, and I'm slow mo.
Are we about to talk about?
With the shits.
Are we about to talk about how bad Unreal Engine is? Is
oh
that
man? Oh, you know what? That's ironic. That was exactly what I was thinking, and that happened to coincide with Umbra getting in here, didn't it?
I didn't even know that he was there.
I
didn't even see him.
That
just
is
like
crazy.
just thinking about how Unreal Engine is just ruining every PC port that comes out, and here's Umbra.
That's crazy, right? That's insane, man. What a coincidence, man. Right? Jeez, that's crazy. No, but I want to get into something that's been going around the community a little bit here, and I just want to get everybody's quick opinion on this. I don't know how deep we gonna get into it, but it's just this whole idea. There's been a narrative around the community that this is essentially, well, if you don't have a brain, there's been a narrative around the community that this is essentially the last straw for Xbox, right? Regarding going into the show. Yeah. I mean, I understand, we got the journalists. Integrity is not high on the list. A lot of times when they're writing these things, they're turning them in to their editors in chief. Integrity is not really high on that list of priorities, unfortunately. But I want to get everybody's opinion because it's crazy to me because it's clearly bait. It's clearly bait, and it's a situation where Xbox is in a lose-lose situation when you start asking these questions prior to the actual event. When you start setting a narrative prior to the actual event. Oh no, I'm just asking. I don't really mean anything by the question. I'm just curious, right? Like that's kind of what happens when you ask. Oh, well, no, I'm just hey, it's kind of my job. This is what I do, right? I got to ask the question, right? Hey, I'm a journalist, kind of what I do. So we'll start with you. Just get around the opinion. We'll start with you, slow mo. Obviously, I know you have your own strong opinion. I do follow you on Twitter, so it's very clear that you're pretty clearly can separate the BS from the non-BS. But where you at on this it's like a pre-worry. Like let's worry ahead of time so we don't actually need to worry when the show comes around.
Well, like if let's say my name is Justin, right? Justin. And I work for the Ignorant Gaming Network, and those don't take any reference.
How long you been working on this skit, by the way? This is already a great.
Oh no, this is all on the top of the head, baby.
Okay.
But let's say I'm Justin and I work for the Ignorant Gamers Network, and my editor comes to me and like, Justin, you've been doing great over the past year, those all that money that you've been getting off of all those Game Pass spots, great, but it's not enough, man. You really need to give us some clicks off this next article. I don't care how you do it, wink, wink, but get it done. Sure. All right. Well, how do I? What just happened? What's everyone talking about? What, Redfall stinks? Oh. What does that mean? I mean, what how? Oh, well, of course. Is this it for? Is this if Starfield doesn't hit? Is this the last? No. I got. I can't say it like that. Let me say it like this. Is there no more? No. What's the word I need? No, use my words, Justin. I'm a writer. Redemption. That's it. No redemption. That's it. Let's go. And then you write some stuff, right? And then you go throw it out there, and your editor loves you. But all that work you did, catering to one side for the past 2 years, like it's kind of evaporated. People don't trust you no more. What are you doing, Justin? And then you jump on Twitter and you're just like, I don't understand why everyone's angry. Okay, well, all right, Justin, well, maybe you weren't paying attention. But look, I think it's definitely clickbait. That's what it is the way it is, and people like Justin have talked about it before. They even talked about how like they got it saved and they took a picture and they had on one hand 1080p and the other one 900p, and how everyone still kept bringing that up to them years and years later. But guess what? Justin's still working at the Ignorant Gamers Network after doing that, and he knows what he needs to do to keep himself employed. So you play sides, you talk things up. You talk up certain narratives, whether you believe them or not. And a lot of these guys, I don't really trust what they say or if they're being genuine with some of the things they say. Some of them I know are genuine because I've actually spoken to them, been on podcasts with them, and they've said things to me privately, just as much as they say things openly, and they take crap from both sides. And those guys I trust. But some of these other guys, I'm like, you did this for the views. Did your editor put you up to this? Come on now. So it's like you really gotta take it for what it is. And my opinion is, does Xbox got some problems? Yes, I made a video about it.
Clearly,
a whole video about
clearly.
it. Right, clearly. And I went in on them in that video, and a lot of people agreed, and plenty of people disagreed. Does that mean Xbox is done? Because not done. They're making more money now than they were ever making in the past. Mm-hmm. Why would they be done? Now, does that mean that maybe certain people, if they don't shape up, might need to be done? Working at Xbox, bring some other people in that may have a different skill set in certain areas, maybe like quality assurance, like that could actually bring the level of quality up to a certain degree. I made an example where you take the Golden State Warriors, who for a long time didn't win anything, and then Mark Jackson came along, drafted the right players, got them into the playoffs. They were like in the hunt so many times, 3 years in a row, never get over the hump. They fired Mark Jackson, bringing Steve Kerr 4 championships later, right? I'm not saying you gotta go fire Matt Booty or Phil Spencer, but maybe give the brother some help in those regards, right?
Yeah.
But like there are ways to fix things before it gets to this is the last chance for Xbox. If Starfield don't hit, ain't nobody gonna ever trust them again. Shut up. Well, if Starfield turns out to be Redfall, which I doubt it is, but let's say let's say for the sake of this argument, it's as bad as Redfall was. Then Pete Hines probably is going to be sending us a message on Twitter saying, "Hey guys, well, I've been at here as MX Media for X years, and I just I kind of want to spend time with my kids, go fishing." And I think it's about time I move on. That's going to be the message you get, because he's the one that's going to fall on the sword, because those are his games. Mm-hmm. It is, the platform is so much bigger than what a lot of these fanboys assume it is. And frankly, we've been hearing from so many people since like 2014, ever since stupid Donnie D told y'all to go get a 360 instead of buying the Xbox One. Ever since then, I have been seeing people saying, "Is this it for Xbox? Is this year it? Is this it? Is this it?" People have been saying it for years. And maybe if it was a much smaller corporation backing it, it would have been it for them, having such an abysmal last generation. But it's not. It's Microsoft, and instead they went and tripled the number of studios they got and dropped $70 billion on another publisher. So it's not it. It's not going to ever be.
Yeah.
What people don't understand with Microsoft and gaming, Microsoft owns technology, middleware that even their competitors use. Mm-hmm. You ever heard Havoc Engine?
Yeah.
That's used by PlayStation developers. Like, it's never going, they're not going anywhere ever. They're always going to be a part of gaming. The same way Nintendo is always going to be a part of gaming, the way Sony's always going to be a part of gaming. So just because there's a bad period or a bad spot and things need to change, because like frankly, the whole 12-month thing for the last show, I better not ever see that issue ever again. Oh, we're only going to show you what's coming out for the next 12 months.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that. I think we've all
don't do that no more. Don't do
we
that
all
no
jumping
more.
on that grenade. Yeah, we all
That's
jumping on
dead
that
and
grenade.
buried.
Yeah.
Slow-mo
Yeah,
after
we
what
don't see that
happened.
anymore.
That's
Yeah.
Right, like
No.
clearly there's some things that have to be fixed. But even if like some leadership have to get replaced for things to get fixed, the brand will still be the brand. They're still going to be making money. Just because one game may bomb or may not bomb doesn't change the fact that they're getting $3 billion out of Game Pass. Doesn't change the fact that like if you look at the annual revenue per platform, not console sales, they're right up there with Nintendo. Before the ABK deal, so before Activision Blizzard comes in, they literally go neck and neck every year with Nintendo. Maybe one year they're up $1 billion, maybe the next year Nintendo's up $1 billion. It happens every year for them. Neither of them are close to Sony when it comes to annual revenue generated, but that's the kind of stuff that they look at. And if they're doing better than they ever been doing before, you're not just going to go, you know what? I don't think this is working for me. I mean, all this money that we're making, and we literally just closed the deal for $70 billion for ABK, but man, Starfield only got a 78 Metacritic. I guess we'll quit. Like, come on, think it for a second. Like, does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So let the clickbaiters do what they do, but I think we can kind of curb the clickbaitness by not clicking on the clickbait, because they do that to get us going. What the F you just say?
And then click on it. And then we all in the details in the article, trying to see what's really
Mission
going
accomplished.
on. Yeah, exactly.
Matter of fact, let me go back to the article so I can clip a part that really pissed me off, so I can then clip it in my tweet, and I'm a cuss them out in my tweet. And Justin over there, like, thank you, because you just clicked again. Appreciate your help. So it's just like sometimes we just gotta ignore the foolishness, especially when we know it's like the headline. I saw the headline and I was like, I know what you're doing. I'm gonna just go scroll on past and keep it moving. So that's all I gotta say. I just think like some of the times we gotta ignore these guys, but it's pretty obvious to see when they're just trying to rile you guys up.
Yeah, no, it's crazy that this narrative gets started, and it's just right on time. It's par for the course, and like you said, it's up to us gamers to recognize it. A lot of us don't realize this community is a lot bigger than just Twitter. It feels like everybody feels the same way a lot of times because somebody with a few thousand tweets, few thousand followers tweet something, but it's, we're really a small portion of, the amount of people that actually play these games. So, you got to think big as well too. But Fuzz, Pong, I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on this. What's been going on here, man?
Go ahead, Fuzz.
No, a lot of like what Slow-Mo said. I'm totally on board with the same deal as far as although I'm guilty of sometimes either retweeting or responding to it. So it's definitely probably helping their engagement numbers and stuff, but it never fails. It's like kind of like what Slow-Mo was saying. I would say it even goes beyond 2014. Like Xbox has always been, because of its association with Microsoft, it's always been like, oh, they're going to get out of the business. They're going to sell it off. They're going to go third party. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They're not going anywhere. I mean, maybe, and I always make this joke as far as, well, maybe they'll be right in like 60 years, and then there'll be a company like Ray-Ban that's like the number one, VR headset company at that point, and Ray-Ban goes from sunglasses to VR headsets in the future or something. But yeah, I just it's without fail. Days before the showcase, well, not days before, but like weeks before the showcase, I talked about it before. It's like the FUD storm is coming, and it's going to get stronger just before the showcase, and then after the showcase, it'll be like even if only one game appeals to you, it's at least that game that you can look forward to, kind of thing. There's going to be like, oh, this was the worst show ever, or oh, well, it wasn't as great as the PlayStation Showcase, or instead of being like, hey, this showcase had like 3 or 4 games I'm looking forward to. This one had 3 or 4 games I'm looking forward to, and just look forward to enjoying those games when they release, kind of thing. No, it's like doom and gloom. Xbox is dead, and I don't know. It's without fail, and it's like soon after Justin posted his story. What would you call the other guy? Raw. Massey made a post, kind of thing, doing the same stuff, looking for those same types of clicks. It's like, oh, he got a lot of attention. Hey, I can do the same thing too. So, but yeah, I agree with Slow Mo. We gotta like either scroll on by, ignore it, or definitely not retweet it or quote tweet it, because it's doing their work for them, kind of thing, and just helping it spread even further. But that's it.
All right, go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, listen. First of all, I personally like Destin. I think that what he does on his own channel is completely separate from what he does on IGN. I think Slow Mo pointed out exactly what it was. I talked about this this morning on Living Split Screen, and I said basically the exact same thing. I said what he writes for IGN is completely different than what he can do on his own channel, and I think that the article itself was to make the editor happy at IGN, and the headline was used in that way. Now, his defense of it, or his shock that the response that he got was what it was, that's where I go, okay, come on. How long you been doing this for? You know exactly what you were going to get from this article. Okay, this is no surprise. All this stuff, though, goes right back into what we talked about, right? Mainstream media is going to be what it is, and I love it because every time they pull this stuff, they, again, take away their credibility a little bit more, and that's what makes people come to YouTube to watch podcasters like ourselves, regular old Joes, gamers who want to talk about this stuff, and go find other places to start looking at for their news. And so I enjoy this stuff. I think it's fantastic. Keep doing it. Let the editors at IGN, shape your content because it'll lead to the downfall even faster. So I'm all about that. Now, the interesting part for me in all this is the run up. And again, everybody's right here. This has been going on for a lot longer than even I would say this narrative has been going on since the minute that Microsoft stepped into the industry. There was people doubting them left and right that they would ever be able to make it in the games industry. And here we are in 2023 with them on the verge of making the biggest purchase in Microsoft history, being in the video games industry. But I got to say right now, what's funny to me, and I'm actually enjoying this, is because this is all revolving around Starfield. And what I think is really happening in the subconscious of certain people is that it's starting to become a reality that Microsoft Xbox now owns Bethesda. And the next biggest game from Todd Howard and that A-team over at Bethesda is exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. And people forget, as we always talk about here, we've talked about it so many times, I bring this up, we don't get these games very often from Bethesda, and people forget how big a Bethesda RPG game is in general to the gaming community because we don't see them very often. And obviously, as gamers, the short-term memory is in full effect. That's why you hear is everybody go, oh, but Fallout 76. Oh, but Fallout 76. Oh, but Fallout 76. Yeah, you guys ignore the history of the generational type games, the absolutely bar-setting type games that were put out prior to Fallout 76 by the actual A team, not by the B team. And now that we're getting closer and closer and we're coming up on that Starfield Direct, and the unfortunate part is we just had the Redfall situation, kind of lead into it. all eyes turn to the next game. Well, the next game happens to be potentially one of the biggest games of the year, potentially another generational hit by Todd Howard. And so it's very, very easy to fall back into that mode. Oh, Starfield. Oh man, it's Xbox exclusive. Let's lay everything on this one game and say this game is going to determine Xbox's future from here on out. Like, that is the easy take to have and to write articles about and to talk about. So again, it just makes perfect sense as this is happening. But Starfield, yes, it is very important to Microsoft and Xbox. It is very important that it does set the tone for what we consider, potentially some of us consider, the new Xbox going forward. If this is going to be the case, do I hope that Redfall is the last of that, unfortunate, even though, ultimately it started long before, Microsoft even acquired them. Do I hope Redfall is the last of the games that we can say that quality control is a question mark? Absolutely, of course I do. Do I know in reality that chances are we might have one here and there? Absolutely, of course I do. But if you can hit with Starfield, it sets the tone going forward. But is it the be-all, end-all? Absolutely not. Like Slow-Mo said, are you kidding me? This company's making $70 billion investments into this industry. They've got 40 plus games in the works that we know of right now. This isn't the last shot at redemption. They've got 39 more shots at redemption. Now, if we go on a streak where Redfall came out the way it did, Starfield comes out bad, Hellblade 2 is not good, Avowed is comes out the gate terrible. Okay, well then we can start talking about what's really going on.
I was gonna say,
and even then,
shivers.
Yes.
Even then, the brand isn't dead.
No, the brand's
but
not dead.
you do have to start having a serious conversation about these people who are in management.
Right, right.
Like Matt Booty, your name is Matt Booty. I don't see no real booty out here. Some real booty.
Get your booty out of here, right?
Yeah, exactly. Get your booty out of here. You're not getting the job done.
Right, exactly. Right. But that would be detrimental, right? That would be where the big questions start happening. But the way this is falling right now, that is not going to happen. Chances are, sure, Starfield's going to get picked apart no matter what. Again, I can't wait until after this direct. It doesn't matter how good this direct is. We're going to have the microscope all over this thing. It's going to be unbelievable. But that's the power of a Starfield. That's the power that Bethesda still holds, that it matters that much that people are going to take the time to dissect it, even if it's looking great. So Microsoft's got a real big moment here, but it isn't the be-all, end-all. That was a complete clickbait article, obviously. Again, like I said, Destin's content on his own channel is completely different. I actually appreciate it. Yeah. I think he does speak what he means. That was completely an IGN spun-up article. I could sit here and dissect it. Steele and I dissected it. Mav and I dissected it. I disagree with how he wrote the article. I disagree with some of the comparisons that he used in there. I disagreed with a lot in the main body of the article, but I knew that it was an IGN article through and through. So it is what it is. He's got a job. He did his job. He got the pushback, he knew, but, again, his defense, that's where I roll my eyes. I'm just like, okay, Destin, come on, man. Just say you wrote the damn article and take the hits, man, okay? Right. It's fine. Right. So
I do kind of feel, though, like, I don't know if you guys watched it's not, I think they may have dropped another Unlocked episode, but the Unlocked episode where they had, shout out to Neo GameSpark, Neo GameSpark on with Justin. I'm still calling him Justin. Justin and Ryan McCaffrey, and I think another young lady. I keep forgetting her name, but she's a regular. Where it was like right after really like the reception of Redfall, and it was very raw, and I thought it was highly critical but honest, it was an honest feeling about Stella. Thank you, Umbra, about how things were, and maybe some of them may feel they may have went in a little too hard. But I think that was when your emotions are high and you have an expectation of what you expect a baseline level of quality to be. it's sometimes good to go at somebody like that, to let them know that this isn't acceptable, and this and the failures in the pipeline and in the process, their internal process, as Phil Spencer said, need to be fixed. Like that's just for you to say we didn't know the game didn't have 60 frames per second, and for us to know that,
that's negligence.
Yes, this is thank you. Negligence. You knew enough to tell them stop working on that PS5 version, but you didn't know enough that not know that the game wouldn't hit the parameters that you even had your marketing people like Aaron Greenberg sticking his neck out on the line and saying this is what our baseline is. 60 frames per second will be our standard, and then sometimes up to 120. If you got your people out there speaking and talking that kind of talk, you gotta make sure your developers are doing the walk. And yeah, development started before you even knew the game existed. But once you knew the game existed, you had to make a choice. You look at the game and see what it is. Is it worth it to still even continue working on? Like it's like certain things like that you see from their competition where they're canceling games. Like, look, I'll tell you, the Deviation Games, that game got canceled. That first party game that they were supposed to be working with PlayStation, that thing's up out of here. Or if it does come back, it's going to be a very different kind of game. Had to lay off 90 devs off their staff. That game, for what I was told, was supposed to have been shown last year. It missed deadlines. When the game isn't shaping up the way it's supposed to, sometimes like cut it loose and cancel it before you even make it your one more thing, so that you don't get to the situation where people are looking at the brand like, I can't fully trust the level of quality I'm getting from it. You know,
that was the biggest problem, Slow-Mo, right? Is that they didn't take it seriously enough that their name was going to be on that game. However, it turned out, and that you didn't, after acquiring, and that's directly from Phil. And again, this was my point. You make this huge purchase, and you're telling me you didn't walk into those studios and saying, "Show me what you got. I need to see what you're working on. I need to make sure that we're on track." You didn't do that. You didn't check in with Arcane. I know Arcane has done awesome games. I'm an Arcane fan. But the fact is that you didn't think it was kind of important after spending $7 billion to walk into the shop and say, hey, let me see this. How are we doing? What do we got going on? You guys need help. Are we going to hit 60 frames? You guys got got Unreal Engine under control. You guys
especially when it's out of their wheelhouse.
Yes, right, exactly.
It's not exactly their kind of game. Like it's not an immersive sim. It was supposed to be a shooter.
Right.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, like you just said, Slow-Mo, it's your name on there now. No matter when it started development, you're publishing it with your name on there, and that's representation of your brand, and that's got to be vital, especially the situation that Xbox was in, promising, no first-party AAA games in 2022. Then you do a showcase that same year saying, hey, 12 months, you're going to be playing all these games, and then obviously two of the big ones out of the three big ones fall away. You got one big one left in Redfall, and you don't make sure that thing's not in tip-top shape before it launches. That's when you get that gut punch, right? And I'm not going to sit here and try to say it was never. It was deserved. They let it fall by the wayside. But again, the overreaction, the oh my God, the end of Xbox. Is this all management's problem? Is this all the? Listen, again, let's slow down. We got a lot of games coming out. We're going to find out real quick how this is going. And if the next, if Starfield hits, if Hellblade 2 hits, if Motorsport is what we think it's going to be, all that goes away because nobody's going to remember that. It's all done and over with.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
We got a long ways to go here.
Right.
Definitely. Great points. So I think we're actually going to wrap up the show on that point, but it's been a phenomenal show, you guys. Everybody in chat, you guys have been freaking awesome and amazing. We had a great panel here lined up, man. But before we before we let the guests talk and we do our round to end the show here, I just want to say something. Shout out to you, Slow Mo, first and foremost, for coming out and hanging out with us. And once again, chat, you guys know what to do. Go follow our guest. Go show some love. All his information is down in the description as well. So this won't be the last time you will be on the show, Slow Mo. So you never know when I'll send up that bat signal again and see if you have some time. But thank you for joining us this evening. Hope you had a good time, bro. But once again, let everybody know where they can find you at, brother.
Hey, well, look, you can find one. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me again. I've been on before a long time ago, but it's like it feels like I just walked back in my house for a moment. Let me take my shoes off, put my foot up on the coffee table, go in the fridge, grab a beer. Feels good to be here, man. Always enjoy talking to Fuzzy. Such a great gamer, great ideas and great topics. Fuzzy's awesome, as well as Pong. As although I love to get on him for being long-winded, it's just me messing with him because I love the guy and I love his passion for gaming. And I get like it was good to be here and talk games with you guys and just really like sometimes to be frank, sometimes you guest on a podcast and then you can't really tell sometimes when you're there if the people are there for the platform or whether they're just really the actual real games, right?
That's true. Yeah, good point.
And sometimes you just kind of like my enthusiasm for gaming, and I've been like getting into the minutia of games, and people are just like, "Yeah, that's great, man." Anyway, so look, what we were saying was like, let's get back to slandering a platform or something, right? And it's just like, oh, okay, I guess nobody cares about, fighting stances and for Ghost of Tsushima or something. It's good to know and to get that feeling like, man, everybody here likes games. I like that. So yeah, I again appreciate the invite. And if anyone that hasn't subscribed to my channel or whatever wants to come check it out, it's in the chat, it's in the description. Appreciate you, Ben, for putting it in there. I do DPS podcast, which is Damage Per Second podcast with the homie Gaming Forte. Forte, awesome guy. Again, it's his birthday today, so send him a shout on Twitter.
Shout out to Forte, man. Happy birthday, brother.
He probably won't see it until Wednesday because he's just terrible with notifications, but when he does see it next week, he'll appreciate it. But we go live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday nights, and we actually will be live on our channel, the Damage Per Second podcast channel, which you can find in like my description of my channel. We're gonna go live on that channel for the PlayStation Showcase on Wednesday, in addition to a typical Thursday night podcast. So come through if you're free to, and hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Have a great time gaming.
Awesome. Shout out to you, Slow-Mo. Once again, you guys know what we do. Roll out that red carpet. So go follow Slow-Mo. Go show some support on everything he's doing over there. Once again, shout out to Scumcast. Shout out to DPS Podcast as well. Doing awesome things. Go check them out as well, too, man. I'm going to throw this over to my right hand, man. These two gentlemen make me look good every week, man. They're the biggest part of the podcast. And we're going to throw this over to you, Mr. Pong Harvey, first and foremost, bro. Another great show. Another great week in the books, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is the way we roll on Saturday nights, and it was absolutely fantastic to have Slow-Mo here. Let's see if he can get up 10 more levels in Ghost Lore while I finish my outro. But it was great to have his thoughts on here, and I know he's just giving me a hard time, and I love it. But it's been way too long, brother. So thank you for joining us, giving us your time tonight. It was absolutely a pleasure, and of course, PTK and Fuzzy. What else can I say, man? Love you guys. Nothing but respect. It's great to be here with you. It's great to get some laughter in, talk some gaming, which is the thing that we all love, and it shines through on this show. And man, chat, you guys have been absolutely just stellar, knocking it out of the park week after week here. Like PTK said, these past months here, the growth of the number of people showing up in the chat for the Shop Podcast has been phenomenal, and nothing but love and respect to all of you that support all the shows, including this one, no matter how many that is. Again, you are the part of the community that drives this as far as podcasting goes. So thank you all for joining us and being a part of the show as well. Listen, you guys know the drill. You can find me Pong Soul on Xbox, Pong Soul on Twitter. Got some big got a big change coming here. So I might make a post tomorrow about it. Good thing. So it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a lot, but it's going to be fun. So I'll let everybody know that. So keep your eyes open for that. And then next week, on Tuesdays, it's All Good Things Green. It's Xbox Factor Podcast. Even though I'm not on panel, I promote that show because it's got a special place in my heart. I wish real life was different. I wish I could do this 24/7, but I can't, so I got to go to work. But Double Barrel Gaming, Mr. Boomstick, every Tuesday, Xbox Factor Podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Be there. And then, of course, Thursday nights, actually Wednesday, I should shout this out too. Wednesday, Fun Speculations channel. Mav is going to be co-streaming the Sony show, and I believe I'm going to be able to get a doctor's note for work that day, and I believe I'll be joining him, and I'm sure plenty of other Fun Speculation family members will be joining him, so we are going to do a live stream of that PlayStation show. Excited to see what they're going to bring this year. Again, I don't have a PlayStation 5. Don't plan on buying one this generation. It's a personal choice for me right now. But at the same time, I'm still excited that we're going to get this showcase showdown, the heavyweights, PlayStation and Xbox both showing their wares. Been a long time for Sony. Can't wait to see it. So be there over on Fun Speculations channel on Wednesday. Thursday nights, it's PM in the PM. Pong and Mav in the PM. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. Two-man show, unless we do decide to have a guest, but most week is just me and Mav catching up, having a great time, talking a lot about the gaming news, and also getting the chat involved. So join us there every Thursday night. And then, of course, Friday nights, it's back on Fun Speculations channel for Xbox Ultimate, where we go all over the place. Last night was nuts. Again, go check it out. We have fun every Friday night. Don't know what's going to be said there. But you do know you're going to hear some good gaming talk as well. So join us 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time every Friday. And then, of course, Saturday mornings, it's Living Split Screen. Split Screen's all one word. My brother from another Steel, Rain, and I get your weekend started the right way. 3+ hours. We hit that 4 mark again, as we normally do on Saturday mornings. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. We'll start your morning. We'll bring you into the afternoon. Come join us. We're on Mission 1K still. So bring a friend, tell a friend. Otherwise, I'll be back here next weekend, God willing, for the Shop Podcast with my two of my favorite brothers in the world right here. But otherwise, it's the golden age of gaming, people. It's the best time ever to be a gamer. There is so much to play, no matter where or what you're playing right now. So get out there, enjoy the rest of your weekend, play what you love what you play. And I'm going to talk to you all real soon. Thank you very much.
Level 12, let's go.
Let's go.
Awesome. Shout out to Pong. And once again, as I always say, the easiest place to keep up with Pong, if you get and catch all of that, just go follow him on Twitter. That's where you'll be able to keep up with him, the easiest place, man. So appreciate you, Pong. Consistent every single week. The Duracell battery of the Shop Podcast here, always bringing it, man. And last but not least, Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere. Another awesome show in the books, brother.
Oh man, it was awesome being on here with you guys. Always awesome having Slow-Mo on here. Definitely gotta have you back here soon as well. And we gotta hook up on Division 2 at some point.
Bro, I'm
considering the sale that they're having now, $4 or $5 for it on PC. I might have to pick it up on PC too.
I'm literally on it right now, trying to see how I can get my current striker build like jury rigged on the Xbox. Like, see if I got all the right pieces for it. So I'm kind of checking it out right now. But trust me, you will be seeing me real soon.
But it's always awesome being on here with you, PTK and Pong. Man, I always look forward to Saturday nights with you guys and everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for showing up and interacting with us, and everybody that catches us on replay. Greatly appreciate it. And for those that want to hear my endless rambles or rants on anything gaming related, just follow me on Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me on the Xbox Lunch Break Special on Double Barrel Gaming at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time on Mr. Boomstick's channel. And then later that evening on FSP on Fun Speculations channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then look forward to seeing you guys here next Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Shop Podcast. Look forward to seeing you there.
Awesome. Shout out to you for us for being here every single week as well, too, Mr. Consistent. Thank you so much. And last but not least, your boy PTK Blam across the board. Follow me everywhere, man. This week has been an extremely rough week, but I had to come and do this show for you guys, man. Shout out to Wifey as well, too. She pushed me to do the show this week, man. It's been tough, real life stuff going on. And by the way, guys, just to give you an update there, too, that information is down in the description as well. So check that out as well, too, if you guys still want to donate, things like that. All help is appreciated. But other than that, I made sure we got to come do this show, man. I care about you guys way too much. I wouldn't have been able to live without doing this show, man. Every single week, you guys are why I show up. But follow me everywhere, PTK Blam across the board. Want to play some video games, some Division 2 specifically, hit me up there, Xbox Live for sure. But other than that, man, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. We're out of here, everybody. Peace out.
Later.